Welcome to episode 1 of the FNS podcast. This is Matt, my co-host Josh. What's up?
What's happening?
We're going to tackle all type of subjects on this podcast here. It's not just sports. It's mainly sports, but it's not just sports. We'll have real talk and everything. So, first topic we touching on is what? Top 10 players in today's game right now?
As tough as that's going to be.
NBA as today's game.
Yeah, it's hard. It's going to be hard to come up with it because the quality of the league has dropped. And this is really kind of off the top of the head. We have not put a whole lot of thought into this. Based off of the league that we know and looking at the landscape of the players, trying to come up with top 10 players in the league.
Why do you feel like the quality has went down in the players, though?
That's a long list. The IQs of the game is terrible. You've heard on other podcasts what players may struggle with teammates and they lack of what they bring to the table. A whole lot of these players is influenced by the video game. They don't value every possession properly. They don't attack every spot on the floor properly. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these players don't value defense, which makes it tough for me because I have a hard time putting players in the top 10 that don't play both ways of the floor when you're on the court for both offense and defense. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I think that's why it's hard for me to come up with a top 10 due to today's game now, and I was trying to think about it. The first name you mentioned earlier was Jokic.
Yeah.
So do you think he number one?
I mean, he kind of got to be at this point. I mean, it's not like he working with the coldest roster. I mean, when you look at it, he don't got the second best teammate, top second best teammate, I should say, in the league. Like, you got other players that's working with colder cats at the number 2 spot than he does.
Right. Do you think okay, because the NBA don't market Jokic like they should, in my opinion. That's my opinion. I don't think they market him like they should market him. But
I mean, he white and can't get off the ground.
But that's the same thing for Luka, but people talk about Luka a lot.
Luka hasn't won a championship. And Luka doesn't play the game looking for his teammates first. Jokic, he looks for his teammates first. Like, it's like he's trying to run the play and trying to get the ball to whoever is best to get the ball at certain moments during the game, during that play. He doesn't absolutely have to.
So do you think in today's game, with the quality of the bad defenses out now, do you think it's possible for Luka to win a championship in today's game, in this climate now?
I mean, anything is possible. Do I think he will do it? Eventually he's going to bump into Jokic. And can the Mavericks beat the Nuggets in a 7-game series?
Can they with Kyrie, though? Is either one of them cold at defense like that?
Neither one of them are defensive players.
So, if you got Kyrie over there, who can stop Kyrie with the Nuggets?
Like I said, neither one of them are defensive players. At that point, you looking at Denver roster and you're like, can Contavious Caldwell Pope? Can Contavious Caldwell Pope hold Kyrie to 20?
No.
Can he hold Luka to 20?
No.
And what are you doing with Aaron Gordon in this picture?
Well, you told me how you feel about Aaron Gordon already, so, I mean, Aaron Gordon is not – Aaron Gordon
he looks really good with the Nuggets.
This is the thing with Aaron Gordon. Yeah, he's – in the system he's in, he looked pretty decent. But with the Magic, when he
Well, that's Steve Clifford. Like, I am still of the opinion that Steve Clifford messed up Aaron Gordon's career. Because he took Aaron Gordon with that freakish athleticism, and he said, we're going to make you the number one defender, and we're going to have the number one offensive option be Vucevic. Let that marinate.
But, okay, let me ask you this about Aaron Gordon. This might be a funny style comparison, but I'm just going to ask this anyway. Compared to Blake Griffin, right?
He was nicknamed Baby Blake.
Oh, was he?
He was nicknamed.
I've never heard that nickname. I've never heard that.
Draft night, they called him Baby Blake.
So how much better is Blake Griffin than him then? And I don't even mean to get all off on it, but if you replace prime Aaron Gordon with Lob City,
well,
is they the same?
What is prime Aaron Gordon?
Magic.
I can't even call that the prime.
Dunk contest, Aaron Gordon.
Okay, but like we ain't see that during the games though. Like we had how many seasons of 82 chances?
What was y'all roster like though? That's the question.
We had a young roster. So we had Elfrid Payton at the point, Victor Oladipo at the 2, then we had Tobias Harris at the 3, Aaron Gordon was playing the 4, and Vucevic was playing the 5. The best defensive player on that was Oladipo, and then after that was Elfrid Payton. Which was, solid, but Vooch can't stop nobody in the paint. Tobias don't play defense. Aaron Gordon is now the defensive player. He's a defensive player, kind of.
Right.
To a degree.
Right.
I mean, we was one of them teams that you looked at our roster and everybody was like in the like early to mid 20s. And you looked at the roster as like they could potentially turn into something if they stay together.
So you don't think Aaron Gordon's a better player now than he was with Orlando? With Denver?
I think you can say he is a better player now just because he's getting better coaching. But I think Steve Clifford messed up when he tried to make Aaron Gordon a primary defender. Because with a guy with that athletic ability, and you don't try to tap in at all to his offensive game, like Aaron Gordon was essentially playing a cleanup man.
Right.
Like after you miss, I'm going to get the rebound, I'm going to try to put it back up, or I'm going to catch a lob. Like you limited Aaron Gordon to that.
So I'm looking at this Nuggets roster. Yeah.
It's really not that cold. It's really not that cold when you look at the roster. Like if you grade the players on the individual basis, you can name.
Are you familiar with Christian Braun?
Yes, Christian Braun is a solid player for them.
Is he?
For them, he's a solid role player. I don't know what he can turn into in the future, but he's solid for them. When it's time for him to get paid, he may walk away.
Okay. I mean, Pope, we know what Pope is. I mean,
3-and-D.
Yep. Vlatko Kankar.
I have no idea.
Small forward.
I have no idea. No idea.
I'm just trying to, these is teammates here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Colin Gillespie.
You better off asking that question to somebody else.
Justin Holiday.
Okay, so Justin Holiday, I remember him when he was on the Pacers.
Right.
Justin Holiday, I can't even say that he was solid. He was from what I remember from the Pacers, he was always trying to shoot threes.
I mean, just off looking at this with the eye test, in the words of Skip Bayless, the eye test, they don't look like a championship team. I'm not trying to be funny or nothing. It just don't look like a.
No, when you look at it on paper,
like they should be
no
contending for a title.
It doesn't look like that on paper, but when you look at them during the game, Malone is coaching them in a way to where they play team ball.
So with this roster, there's no debate that Jokic is number one.
That's my feeling on the matter.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
But it's
with
hard.
This roster.
It's as conflicting as it is to say it, because Jokic don't got no defense. Like, it's like against my DNA
Who
to put.
starts next to him? It's Aaron Gordon, right?
Yeah, Aaron Gordon.
Okay, so I mean, he's the guy who, if somebody, he.
It's against
slack for Jokic, pretty much. What you gonna say, right?
Can you say that? Like, okay. So a lot of this stuff is just a product of the current NBA.
Let me go ahead and go to this. I'm finna go to these Mavericks. You know what I'm saying? Because you did ask.
The Mavericks got a better roster than they do.
I mean, just off the top of the head, I feel like they got a better roster.
They got a better roster than they do.
I'm trying to figure. To me, it just sounds
when you look at it from top to bottom. Now, when you look at it from the top 5-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So the best player for best player, Jokic outdoes Luka. The second best player, that's where Dallas wins, because they got Kyrie.
And then that trade though too. That trade they made
to get homeboy from Washington.
Yeah, they
and then they got somebody else too.
I'm looking. You got Luka. You got Dante Exum. Do he get clocked?
He does, but it's not like major.
Okay, Josh Green, he's pretty decent. Tim Hardaway, Jaden Hardy, Kyrie Irving, Derrick Jones Jr.
Yeah,
he's athletic. I think. Do you feel like Derrick Jones Jr. is underrated?
No, he's right where he right where he is for a reason. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, Markieff Morris over there?
Yeah, but he don't get no like major clock over there. Like,
That's crazy.
These guys like him, they're on the back end of their career, so they're gonna be retiring soon.
Dwight Powell.
They see value in him. I don't know for what reason, but coming from the standards that we got based on the game that we used to watch.
Nah, I'm looking P.J. Washington. I know P.J. Washington,
Oh, yeah, P.J. Washington was the other guy that they got.
P.J. Washington, I mean, I think outside of the situation with the chick, he's starting to show his value on the court because, he had...
What situation he had with the chick?
The Brittany Renner lady. He had a girl. He had a baby with her.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
Cool. Okay, so we gonna skip on past that then. But P.J. Washington is pretty decent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's decent.
But I feel like those kind of guys, they're not going to receive their proper value because of the way they play offense. Because Luka, like, okay, so if you try to compare Luka to Jokic, Jokic looks for his teammates first, second, and kind of third.
And that's the main knock against Luka. I think that's his issue. Because if he was I don't agree when people say he's like LeBron.
Who said that?
There are some analysts saying that, dog. That
I haven't heard anybody say that.
He's like LeBron. I don't want to put the name out because I don't want to get it wrong.
Okay.
But there were some analysts saying that he's like a LeBron.
Well, I haven't heard that. I mean,
I think offensively, Luka is official. You know what I'm saying? But if he was more of a distributor, which is surprising, like you said, with Jason Kidd as the coach, which I'm shocked that he let this pop off.
Yeah, man. Jason Kidd. I'm surprised he let this fly because Luka don't got the same athletic ability that Jason Kidd has.
Was Jason Kidd really the athletic?
If you want to say that Jason Kidd is athletic. But just the way that Jason Kidd ran the floor, and you look at Luka, like Luka looks like his top speed is 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean Jason Kidd was faster than that for sure. But
But Luka, it's like he's gonna try to get his shot off first.
You know what people what's not a popular opinion. His game is more comparable to a person like Paul Pierce as far as his speed, step back ability, and able to get his shot off.
Yeah, but Luka does have, I guess you could say, better passing ability. Because when it's time for him to pass, he can be effective. Whereas Paul Pierce, because and this isn't saying that Paul Pierce isn't capable of doing that. He just played in the era where players played their role better.
Mm-hmm.
So based on what we've seen in their careers, it's kind of a little bit of an unfair comparison. But
What with Pierce?
well, I'm just saying it from the standpoint of distributing.
Okay.
Because Paul Pierce played in an era where there was actually a point guard that did that. And Luka is playing in this era of positionless basketball. So anybody can do that. And essentially Luka plays the role of the distributor on the Mavericks, but he also plays the role of primary scorer. So that does not make sense because he's playing both roles, and if one role is not working, the other role has to be impactfully good in order for him to stand a chance to win.
That makes sense. But as you can see, it's hard to come up with a top 10 because these guys.
Well, look,
It's hard to come up with that. Like because off the top, I think of Jokic and I think of Luka off the top. Does Shea get any love here?
he could. We got to see what the landscape looks like to see where he would fall.
Anthony Edwards?
Most definitely. Like, he's going to be in my top 10. He's in my top 5.
Okay.
He's in my top 5 without even thinking about it too hard.
With Ja Morant being hurt, we can't throw him in there, right?
If he wasn't hurt, he would be.
Okay.
If he wasn't hurt, he would be. If we factor in injuries into this, then we got to eliminate names like Joel Embiid. We got to eliminate
So let's say, let's just say hypothetically all healthy. You know what I'm
okay.
saying? Because the injury thing, it's hard to do this with injuries in place because, just be honest, folks stay injured. Let's be real here. Right. So just the guys that's available, the guys that's in the game right now, the top of the game, off the top, I'm thinking, and this is no order here. No order. Jokic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Luka, Shea, Anthony Edwards, Ja Morant. You got to throw Joel Embiid in there. How many is that?
That's 6.
Okay. You got to throw LeBron in there.
Yeah.
Still.
Giannis?
Oh, Giannis. You got to throw him in there. Giannis.
Sabonis?
With DeMontis. That's debatable.
Sabonis?
That's
Sabonis
debatable.
is a name.
Over Fox? Over Fox?
With the way that they work their offense, I kind of wonder about that. Because Sabonis is the one that he scores, rebounds, and he gets the team involved.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Fox is like, I'm scoring, and every now and then I'll get the team involved.
Over Fox? I can't definitely say. I guess that's debatable.
It's debatable.
I'm saying
I don't like the way it sounds, but I don't like the way it sounds, but just based on watching them and seeing them play, it almost seems like Sabonis is more valuable to the team than Fox is. And not that Fox doesn't have a very high value, because he brings some unique things to the table that many players don't do. Like his speed, his stop and start ability is not something that is mimicked.
Who would the Kings trade first on? Would they trade Fox or Sabonis first? If they...
Because neither one of them have won anything, that's an open market kind of thing. It is kind of dependent on what haul can I get for either one of those players, and what would pair better with the other one that I keep. Because right now we already asking ourselves, did they make the right decision trading away Tyrese Haliburton?
I don't think they.
Oh, Haliburton is in that top 10. Haliburton is top 10.
Haliburton is definitely in there. So
he in there.
He's definitely in there. So I don't think they made the right. But
do you feel like?
But I would say.
Okay, so
is the Haliburton trade better for him because will any one of them stunt the growth? If Fox and Haliburton on the same team in the backcourt, does that stunt growth?
I don't.
Will Haliburton be viewed as what he is now if he was still for the Kings?
Well, I mean, we seen Haliburton pop off in the Kings uniform. Like they was on the same squad.
Right.
And when they traded Haliburton away, people was like, have the Kings seen Haliburton play? Because he can do that. Like, he can do this.
Right. Look, to me, personally, when they made that trade,
they could have kept them two together.
I didn't understand the trade. I still don't understand the trade. For Sabonis and Haliburton. I didn't understand that trade.
I mean, it's not like they lost the trade. I mean, it kind of turned out to be a win-win for both teams.
Right, but I would have liked to have... Look, to me, I know you like Sabonis. I like Sabonis too. Right. But I would rather have Haliburton.
Okay, so we got to ask ourselves this question, okay? So, Boston is the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
Is Tatum or Jaylen Brown on this list?
See, I ain't mentioned them at all, did I?
Nope.
I didn't mention that one.
We haven't even got to them.
I don't think Jaylen Brown is a top 10 dude.
Okay, what about Tatum?
Due to the fact that I ain't thinking him, I mean, this is not stuff that's definite. This is all opinion, right?
He has the potential to be there very easily.
Like we talked about the other day off the record. I think Tatum right now is a tier 2 star. I don't think he is a look, just because you're a tier 2 star, that don't mean that you're not cold. He's just not what a...
Okay, so the thing that I don't like about Tatum, he looks for the 3 too much. He looks for the 3 ball too much.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes away from his personal ability to impact the game by doing that. Everything is like dribble, sidestep, 3-point shot. Or dribble, step back, 3-point shot. Like, that's what he's looking for. And I feel like he has a mid-range game that he needs to tap into more to get a more consistent 2-point shot than the 3-point shot that can fall maybe 1 out of every 4 contested 3-point shots.
Mm-hmm. Well, you see that right there is the take. This today's game.
Okay, so
period. So I mean, that's just what it is. Like, they look for the 3 way too much. I just don't think that, honestly, that Tatum have it in his chest. Personally,
I question that too.
That's just what
he's a very nice guy.
Because Tatum, he has the abilities to be. Because remember, they was comparing him to Kobe, and I raised the eyebrow to that.
First of all, any comparison of him to Kobe needs to stop. Like, he needs to stop wearing the sleeve, or what is that he wears? The armband with the number 8 or the 24. He needs to stop doing that because he plays nothing like Kobe. Kobe wasn't out here in these courts just looking for a 3-point shot.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like they was I remember before the Celtics was doing what they was doing now, being number one and all that. They was calling him Kobe protege, baby Kobe, whatever they was calling him. Which to me, I don't see that in him at all whatsoever. I just don't think he have it in his chest to be the number one guy. To be the number one guy on the team, the leader, you have to command. You got to command leadership, but he don't have that. He just don't have that. I don't think he has that. So because technically he's having a championship right now.
For real.
Technically he's having a championship right now.
But I don't think the coach demands that out of him.
Why not?
Because he's a new guy himself. He's not proven. He didn't coach anywhere where he has a resume that says that he demands to have respect. So, like, it's not a knock against Mazzulla, but your resume is what it is. Like, where did you coach before assisting Udoka at Boston?
So, I'm looking at the stand. I'm looking at the record of the
Would you take
Celtics.
Jason Tatum over Jalen Brunson?
Yes, I'll take him over Jalen. Listen, Jalen Brunson is cool. You know what I'm saying? I think Jalen Brunson is cool. Where New York at? They number 4 right now, right?
And they number 4 right now.
Number 4, they 42 and 28.
Keep in mind, he doing this with
7 and 14.
Okay, so let's look at their teams.
They only lost 14 times.
Right, but you got to look at their teams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who's the Robin to the Batman on these teams? The Celtics got Jaylen Brown as the Robin.
Mm-hmm.
And Jalen Brunson has Julius Randle. The Celtics have Drew Holiday as a, well, is he the third guy?
I mean,
because it's really like Porzingis.
The third guy has to be a
Porzingis.
scorer. Not Jalen, but Drew Holiday's not a scorer.
So Porzingis.
So, yeah, it'd be Kristaps.
Porzingis is the third guy.
Yep.
Who's the Knicks' third guy?
Let me check this out real quick.
Is it OG Anunoby?
Let me check this out real
Is
quick.
it Josh Hart?
Let me see.
Is it DiVincenzo?
You got Jalen Brunson. So Jalen Brunson's number 1, right?
Jalen Brunson has got to be the clear number 1 in my mind.
He's the number 1. I'm just making sure. I'm just double checking.
Julius Randle would have to be the number 2.
Number 2, right? So now we looking at
OG Anunoby and DiVincenzo, Josh Hart.
They traded. It would have to be OG Anunoby, right? Because it's not Josh Hart.
Well, OG Anunoby is not no proven scorer. He's a defensive player.
But he's a better player than Josh Hart. So
yeah,
you're not gonna say Mitchell Robinson. You're not gonna say Jericho Sims, Jacob Toppin. You definitely not saying him. Dwayne Washington Jr. No.
This is just the roster.
I mean, Precious. No. So basically, your top 3 is Jalen Brunson.
So he's working with a less hand.
Julius Randle.
He's working with a much less hand. Tatum got everything that he needs. Tatum got no excuse potential because Drew Holiday is not even the 4th guy. It's Derek White.
Okay.
And you can make an argument that Drew Holiday is not even the 5th guy. Because they got Peyton Pritchard over there.
Right.
I mean, like,
listen, at the end of the day,
Tatum got a very lovely hand.
So what does it say about Tatum because I don't think they win a championship still. They should clearly win a championship this year.
With this roster, they expecting to.
That's why I said they should clearly win it. They should have beat who would they lose championship to? The Celtics, right? I mean not the Celtics, but the Warriors.
The Warriors. Right? They lost the
championship
to the Warriors.
They should have beat the Warriors.
Yeah, but part of the reason for that was Mazzulla's game plan. Well, no. At that time, it was Udoka.
Mm-hmm.
Udoka, he was a new guy on the scene, defensive coach, and I felt like in that series, the superstars of the Celtics did not show up the way superstars should show up in the finals.
So what did I tell you? But see, this go back to what I said before.
So this goes back to my
These cats is
question.
tier 2.
But okay then. So I'm not saying that you're wrong. My question then is, do you think that Jalen Brunson will fold like that?
In what? In the pressure?
Right. Because Jalen Brunson, everything that he tells us right now says that he's ready for the smoke. He just needs the opportunity, which is he ain't going to get it with New York in this current roster. And then we haven't even thought about Jimmy Butler, the guy that beat Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Derek White. We haven't thought about Jimmy Butler. Is Jimmy Butler top 10?
Is he consistent enough?
He's not healthy enough.
That's what I'm saying. That's consistency.
So are we including Joel Embiid in this? Because if we include Joel Embiid in this, we have to include Jimmy Butler in this. Because Jimmy Butler essentially made a case. It became public knowledge about him being the one that the Minnesota Timberwolves should have invested in instead of Karl Anthony Towns.
I think Jimmy Butler is dope. I don't think he should be the number one option because he don't got enough of this offensive arsenal. This is the thing with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler got it in his chest. He just don't have the ability. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got it. He got whatever you need in it. Like, Jimmy, I think, honestly, I feel like, and I think Damian Lillard, honestly, and I'm kind of starting to see why he wanted to go to Miami. No, I'm serious. I'm starting to see why he wanted to go there instead of, you know what I mean? I'm starting to see why. Because
he was close friends with Bam.
But what I'm saying
or at least that's what they said.
If Dame was over there and you had Jimmy Butler over there, I think
he has enough guys around him that does the dirty work.
Yes. Because Giannis, the way he acting, it's not favorable. You know what I'm saying?
He's turning into a prima donna.
Yes, and it's crazy. It's kind of wild to see him do this. I don't like it. But
and Giannis is in the top 10 players in his league.
Yes.
Just on effort alone, not his skills.
But with Jimmy Butler being the dog that he is, and he do turn up when you know what I mean, challenge him. And he show up in the big moments. It's not like he don't, right? I don't like his regular season play, but in the big moments, he show up. Not the biggest Bam guy, but I respect Bam.
Well, Bam is, first of all, Miami is kind of like, I get the feeling that they settling a little bit. Because Bam, if you look at him, he has small forward type of skills.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's a center.
And he's playing the center position.
I really don't. I think he a 3. I really feel like he a 3. I feel like, because I think Miami is just, that goes to, and this is, I don't think Spoelstra get enough credit for his coaching, because to be able to do what you do with that, I'm not saying they bad, but to be able to undersized people out of position and to still do what you do with that.
But this is positionless basketball. Should Eric Spoelstra get credit for coaching the style of play that the current NBA is in?
But you told me Spoelstra was like that, though.
I believe Spoelstra is.
You told me Spoelstra's like that.
I do believe Spoelstra is like that.
You said he's one of the greatest coaches of all time. You said that.
No, I ain't never said all time. I said in this era.
I need the audio of this.
In this era, Eric Spoelstra is one of the greatest coaches.
I'm gonna find the audio, y'all.
There is no such thing.
He said
there is no
Eric
such
Spoelstra
thing.
was one of the greatest coaches of all time.
I have never said that. I said that in this era, he's one of the greatest coaches.
Dog, okay, cool. Fine.
Do you feel like he's better than Doc?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Then. Do you don't?
I do.
I think that's clear. I think that's clear that he's better than Doc. Man, listen, I don't even think that's debatable. So if you put Doc with Miami, what they doing?
I don't know.
Exactly. So
I don't know because Doc right now he's got Dame, he's got Giannis, he's got Brook Lopez. It's not the best roster to work with because when you look at Milwaukee, they really don't got scorers like that. Like Dame is really the only scorer, and that's only relative to that shot falling. Because me and you both said if that shot ain't falling, what does he bring to the table?
I mean, that's clear. I think Dame. I like Damian Lillard.
So who's the scorers over Milwaukee's roster?
Technically, it has to be Dame.
The only one.
That's the. I mean, and Middleton when he's actually on.
Middleton showed that he can pop off in moments.
When he's on, that's why I said when he's on.
But Middleton, he himself has been battling injuries for whatever reason.
Yeah. So
I don't know what he's been battling.
I did not like the. I know I told you before. I'm like, well, if the Bucks, technically, if the Bucks are healthy, they should be contending. But I don't know what's going on over there. So,
well, they fired.
It's a lot of.
They fired the coach that they had for no real solid reason.
Because he didn't get along with Giannis. Just call it what it is. Giannis was crying and he got fired. But they're not doing. Let me see.
They ain't out here doing no crazy work since they got Doc Rivers.
I mean, because they
ain't doing nothing crazy.
Because what was they? They're number two. They're number two. So they 45 and 25.
Isn't that like the same spot that they was in with Adrian Griffin?
With Adrian Griffin, but I feel like it was unfair. It's just that I think that Adrian Griffin didn't have, just because he was a rookie coach, he didn't command respect of the room, and they kind of was bullying him in a sense. You can say that.
They just didn't value his voice.
And that's a product of bullying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying? Whichever way it spins out, they didn't value his voice.
But like I was saying, I think that I see why now. Looking at what I'm seeing now, I see why Dame wanted to go to Miami. He got more dogs over there.
Yeah.
I didn't see that at first. I'm be honest. I didn't see that at first. But now looking at this, if Dame over there, I think he would have liked it better in Miami.
Okay, so like I don't know. Did you see the picture with Brook Lopez, the way he was sitting on the bench with his legs crossed?
No.
And stuff like that?
No.
Like, that alone says you ain't no dog.
Well, I don't think, I've never looked at Brook Lopez as some official.
No.
You know what I mean? I've never looked at Brook Lopez like that.
Okay, and then your second best option was Bobby Portis.
I know how you feel about Bobby Portis.
He just likes to scream in the crowd, try to get him hype.
And
he's very overrated. Not saying that he doesn't bring anything to the table, but I can look at other options.
Who's my man's name? He played for the Magic, dog.
He played for the Magic?
No, he was no. It's gonna come to me. He played for the Magic. He was your power forward for the Magic, dog. I can stand that dude, man. Well, go ahead.
When?
No, I'm gonna look him up because it's right at the top of my. It's right at the tip of my tongue, man. I just cannot think of his name.
In what era?
T-Mac era. T-Mac era. He reminds
Drew Gooden?
Yes. You know exactly what I'm talking about too. Drew Gooden. He reminds me of him. 100%. He don't?
He might be a little bit more talented offensively than Drew Gooden.
Drew Gooden went better than him?
I don't know because Bobby
Portis ain't nice.
No, but Bobby Portis, in games, you'll see him make a turnaround fadeaway jumper every now and then. He'll be able to make a three-point shot every now and then. Like, I can't say the same thing about Drew Gooden. I'm just saying. I mean, they not far apart. Drew Gooden wasn't no dog like that. I feel like Bobby Portis got more dog in him than Drew Gooden does. But I mean, you comparing a trash can to a dumpster, so you know. So I don't really like. I don't really care about those two.
Well, like I said, I see why Dame wanted to go to Miami.
Okay.
You throw Dame at that one. And what, Butler would be at the 3? Well, he'd be at the 3 or the 2.
I think it depends on if Spoelstra wants Tyler Hero to start.
Because you need a 6-man. So,
And, I mean, right now, they kind of functioning with, I guess, Tyler Hero being a 6-man.
he's coming off the bench?
I don't know. I haven't looked at a Miami game. I can't tell you the truth.
Yeah, I gotta, I want to be able to, you know what I'm saying?
Because I'm just trying to think of who their other options are. They don't got Max Strus over there. He plays for Cleveland.
Miami number 7. When did he get traded to Cleveland?
He didn't get traded to Cleveland. He just went there.
I'm bugging. I'm tripping. Ooh,
Did I say he got traded to Cleveland?
No, I'm just thinking Max Strus. I'm tripping. I'm thinking somebody else.
He over on Cleveland now. And then Gabe Vincent is on the Lakers.
Right, he left.
Speaking of him, they supposed to be getting him back sometime soon.
When? In the off season?
I got in.
That's crazy. Hold on, is he about to leave? I never heard that. When did that pop off?
I just got an alert. I think it was yesterday.
Hold on. When?
I got an alert yesterday saying that he's
From
supposed
where?
to be coming back.
From where?
Bleacher Report. It was Bleacher Report.
How you get that alert? I didn't get that. That's crazy. So what? So he only signed a 1-year deal with LA? I thought it was longer than that. I could be wrong.
I think it was a 1-year deal, but like certain players get their motivation.
He
to
like,
play.
no, I gotta go back.
Certain players get their motivation to play when it's getting time to the playoffs, because playoffs is where a whole lot of players can make their money.
Right.
I can show my value to another team and they'll break me off.
Wait a second. They got Tyler Hero listed as a point guard. He's listed as a point guard. Is Tyler Hero a point guard to you?
No, but when you think about Miami's roster, who's the real point guard on the team?
Dog, they don't have one. He's actually, hold on, Patty Mills.
He ain't getting no
they
clock,
only got
though.
2 point. Hold on, wait. So wait a second.
He's not getting no clock.
Dog, they definitely could have used Dame. Like bad. Like, hold on, wait. So I'm looking at this.
That's why Jimmy Butler made that video about tampering.
I didn't even realize that. Like, dang. So Patty Mills and Tyler Hero, they only have 2 point guards listed on their roster. 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy, man. So, yeah, that's rough right there.
Yeah. So when you look at their roster, it makes sense why Jimmy Butler made that video about like saying that the NBA should investigate the tampering stuff with Damian Lillard, because it sounds like he thought for sure that was in the bag.
It probably was, but you never know what goes on behind the scenes.
Yes, he right here. NBA injury report: Gabe Vincent plans to return this season to the Lakers.
This season?
This season.
Well, he getting cut? The only way this happens is if he getting cut.
This season?
Or bought out.
The Lakers are in a play-in situation right now.
What are you talking about this season then?
Yeah, this season. I mean, I don't know what that means exactly as far as regular season.
You talking about the off season?
Regular season versus, well, he actually signed a 3-year deal with the Lakers.
Yeah, so how that's going to work? Unless he getting bought out the contract?
I think he's going to return to play. Let's see. It says I'm trying to read the report.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't say a specific date when he would come back
to Miami.
Season. No, this season to the Lakers.
Man, I'm thinking you talking about Miami, dog. Who you talking about?
Gabe
Like
Vincent.
Miami, like
Gabe Vincent.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
but he used to play for Miami. He was on Miami.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I thought you were talking about the whole time. You talking about come back to Miami. Like, how's that? How?
No.
That's my bad. I misunderstood what you were saying. Okay, so he's hurt.
Yeah, he supposedly been hurt.
I thought
for
you
a minute
meant talking about going back to Miami. That's the whole time. My bad.
I mean, that might be the move that's best for him.
My bad, y'all.
That,
I misunderstood
that might
thing.
be the move. I mean, because you look at what Darvin Ham's doing with this roster.
Yeah, he should. I mean, looking at this roster, I mean, he should have stayed there. Like, he should have stayed. I mean, the Heat, I mean, they got Scary Terry, but he's a 2. Now that'd have been nice. You have Dame over there.
Well,
If you
is Dame a real one?
what?
Like, is he a real point guard?
He a better one than everybody over here that's listed as a 1.
When has Dame shown that he's a distributor?
I'm not saying he is, but
So, what's the difference if you got a guy?
he handles better and can score better.
So, you mean I'm going to get the ball less if I'm Jason Terry?
Plus Tyler Hero distributor, he's listed as a PG.
Well, we all know he's not.
All right then. So Terry, oh no, he's not listening to PG. Patty Mills.
He's not a real distributor
All right
either.
then. So I mean,
They got no distributor.
at all, not one.
Not one guy that looks for the team. So,
Yeah, they. That's why I said Spoelstra get a lot of kudos. This brother get a whole lot of kudos, man. Like, because they're number 7.
him and Pat
Please.
Riley. The relationship between him and Pat Riley. That's got to be one of the best relationships that exists in the NBA as far as coach and general manager or whatever role Pat Riley plays in the head office.
How long he been with Miami anyway, Spoelstra? He been with them for.
He was there for LeBron's first year with them.
That was the shoulder bump year, wasn't it? When Brian bumped him and whatever the case is, and he walked onto the bench, shoulder bump and all that.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
Yeah, that was. I think that was a situation like that where he bumped into Spoelstra and all that.
But yeah, they like LeBron. He's always played for a rookie head coach.
And that's a testament to LeBron to be able to win with those type of guys.
Yes. But as far as Eric Spoelstra is concerned, he immediately showed the ability to still be able to win after LeBron, because when the Heat still had Wade and Bosh, for a second they was in position to be a playoff team, and then Bosh got seriously injured, and that's where
That was a blood clots, right?
I think that's what it was. But he ended up dealing with that, and it took him kind of out.
I mean, for Miami to be number 7, they like literally like at the top of the plane. They're at the top of the plane because
they would be playing, if I understand it correctly, they would be playing Atlanta.
Yeah, to be Atlanta and Philly playing Chicago.
No, yeah.
Right. So really, if they go on the road, they could be out of the plane with that roster.
Well, Miami has made it far in the finals in the playoffs just by not giving up and playing hard, which is, when you look at the landscape of the teams that they would have to play, I would think that theory will not work this year.
No, I mean, it's
because
Boston,
you got Indiana plays hard, they don't quit. New York plays hard.
I'm looking at the standings, like Boston, they too official. I mean, I don't think Miami stand a chance against them. Milwaukee, even as dysfunctional as they is, no.
I think they can have a chance against Milwaukee.
Is Milwaukee?
Because Milwaukee hasn't shown me something that makes me believe that they can win.
You don't think they can beat Miami?
No, they can and they should. The problem is Miami has been looked at this same exact way for the past 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
They've been the underdogs in a number of matchups, and they just beat them just by fighting harder than the other team does.
I can't disagree with you there.
So my question is, who's the fighters on Milwaukee?
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, I'm just looking at here. Like, I'm just looking at
because the playoffs,
the top of the East.
The playoffs is going to become a chess game between the coaches and then a heart game between the players.
No,
The players.
I 100% agree with you. I'm looking at Milwaukee and Miami. Honestly, I'm looking at just off the length alone, they got a problem.
It didn't mean nothing in the years prior.
Alone. It's just.
It didn't mean nothing in the years prior.
They lost some pieces, didn't like they lost.
They traded away Kyle Lowry.
I know you don't like Kyle Lowry. I'm gonna let you rock on that. I mean,
Kyle
Lowry was important still to them. He was.
Jason Terry is an upgrade. Jason Terry is an upgrade from Kyle Lowry.
But Lowry does at least, you know how they say game manager in football?
He's not that.
I mean,
he's not that.
He's a better point guard than what a Tyler Hero is.
Well, I'm not going to say
or Patty Mills is.
They running out of options. Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
you got to look. Okay, so when Miami made it, they had the likes of Max Strus and Gabe Vincent, and they still got the one player that you don't care for over there. The one that you was looking at, and you was like, if a team was to focus on him, he would do nothing.
Who?
Caleb Martin.
Oh my gosh, him. Yeah,
Caleb Martin is still over there.
I mean, look, if they would lock in on, I mean, look.
But we can say that about a number of guys.
I know, but
look at Jordan Poole.
Listen, man.
Jordan Poole was heavily invested by Washington. And they was like.
We'll talk. We get to that in a few seconds.
And I'm not even going there.
In a few seconds.
I'm not mentioning the other name.
I mean, but like,
I'm not mentioning the other name.
I mean, okay, we gonna visit that. Forget all that. Because that's crazy. But Cleveland, you think Miami could beat Cleveland? Because they're number 3 right now in the East.
They shouldn't. But Miami has developed this ability to fight harder than the other team.
Because I look at it like boxing, right? You can have all the heart in the world, but if somebody's better than you, they better than you. Like, you know what I mean?
Last year and the years prior, Miami had the players. Now, without having Gabe Vincent and Max Strus, who were 2 critical players to their runs,
and even your man's Kyle Lowry,
in
he was
moments,
a point guard there.
In moments, and I say moments, meaning really moments.
He is a veteran that knows what he's doing to a certain degree. I know you don't like Kyle Lowry like that, but
in this league,
Kyle Lowry,
in this NBA,
is a veteran, and he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
I will say, okay, but
he's a better point guard than anybody they got on that roster, dog. Straight up.
Okay, I'm not saying you're wrong there, but playing against Cleveland, who's proven over there?
Okay. I mean,
they got the size mismatch. I mean, for
Cleveland
sure.
Listen, like I told you before, Cleveland
is going to win based on whatever they get out of Kevin Love.
Kevin Love for Miami, bro.
No, but we talking about, can Cleveland beat Miami?
Oh yeah.
So Kevin Love versus Jared Allen or Evan Mobley. How do you feel about that matchup?
Kevin Love versus Evan Mobley?
Or Jared Allen. It'll be one of the two.
I mean,
whoever doesn't get Kevin Love gets Bam Adebayo.
Kevin Love, at this point in his career, he don't play in the paint no more. He just stretches the floor.
Yeah, but I mean, he's been that way for a minute now. But like, okay, whoever doesn't guard Kevin Love guards Bam.
Is Bam that hard to guard? Like, is he?
He shouldn't be that hard to guard. He shouldn't be that hard to guard. But they beat Boston with him at the 5. Last year's Boston.
Oh, they beat Boston.
You don't remember that? They beat Boston.
I'm not arguing with you there. I'm not arguing with you there. I mean, but Boston, they just. I have
Jason
no
Tatum
words. I
needs
have no
to-
words for that. You know
Jason
what I mean?
Tatum.
There's no excuse. I don't have an excuse for this.
Jason Tatum
Except
needs
that
to
he
be.
didn't got it in his chest. Listen,
He
y'all.
needs to be. he
Listen,
needs
y'all.
to
The quote
turn-
is
he
he
needs
don't
to-
have it in his chest.
He needs to be a mean guy
Listen,
for once in his life.
if there's anything you get off this podcast, and the word is, or the quote is, players have it in their chest. And I do not think Jason Tatum have it in his chest. I don't think he have. I think he's a number 2 option.
But the talent gap between Boston and Miami is like.
Okay, let's talk about the talent, right? Did Vince Carter have it in his chest? He had the talent, but did he have it in his chest, though?
You're right.
Vince Carter could have been
But
one of the greatest.
The only reason why I'm
ever,
saying
you know what
that,
I mean?
the only reason why I'm saying that is you just said a few moments earlier that you can have all the heart in the world, but there's eventually a time where you just bump into somebody that's better.
That's
than you.
facts. But I'm just but
That was a situation where they should have bumped into somebody that was just better than them.
you are 100%. Look, I'm not disagreeing with you, but it's like a seesaw here. It's like a balance, right? So a guy like Vince Carter, right? I don't even mean to veer off, but this is off the cuff today. So a guy like Vince Carter, he had all the abilities. He could shoot. Greatest dunker ever. I mean, he did everything. You know what I'm saying? But
And he had an underrated handle.
Vince was one of the best. Like, you know how they say, like, Kyrie's majestic? You know what I'm saying, with the handle? Vince was the same with the dunk. It was amazing.
Right.
But I don't think he had it in his chest when it came to the nitty gritty.
Well, did he, or did he just not have the support? Because in Toronto, who was his best teammate?
Well, you talking about let me think back. You're taking me back.
Who was his best
Taking
teammate?
me back to
Was it his cousin T-Mac before T-Mac
Rookie
became
T-Mac.
T-Mac?
but T-Mac didn't want to be there. So this the thing. That's a conflicting thing because T-Mac was
because the only reason why I bring that up is because the grade scale that we put on certain players and we elevate other players, they are in a situation where they have at least one other cold player on their team.
Let's talk about this because it's rumored that he quit on the Raptors. I don't know that for sure, but they say he quit on the Raptors.
Okay.
And got traded to. Did he get traded or signed to the Nets? I don't remember that.
I don't remember it either.
Okay, so whatever. He ended up going to the Nets. He had Jason Kidd over there,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Who else was over there?
Richard Jefferson.
Okay, Richard Jefferson I think is underrated, but
I think at that time, Kenyon Martin was on the Nuggets at that time.
mm-hmm.
But either way, he had Richard Jefferson there.
Let me ask you this: do you think Vince Carter should have been placed? Should he have been sitting at the table with Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, and them? Because Vince Carter,
he's more athletic than both of those guys.
But should he have been sitting at the table with them?
You would think so.
But he's not, is he?
But once again, where is his Scottie Pippen? Where is his Shaquille O'Neal? Where is his Paul Gasol?
Mm-hmm.
Who was that for him? Because as much as people credit those guys, which is those players, they deserve everything they got.
Let me play devil's advocate. Who is Jason Kidd? Because Jason Kidd won a championship with Dirk Nowitzki, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
At an older age.
At the same time, that Dallas Mavericks team was a special team because it was like they had two starting lineups. Because they had a full lineup coming off the bench. They had five quality players, not necessarily saying that they were essentially starters in the league, but this is what they said about their own team. They had five quality players coming off the bench.
That's the same thing with the 04 Pistons, though. Same thing.
What happened with the 04 Pistons? Did they win?
One title.
All right, but they won a title.
But when they really started, they was just cold bench players.
Right. Okay, so who was that for Vince when he was in Toronto? So we like to play these games of ranking players, but like, are we really putting everything on the table as far as, okay, what was he working with versus what he was working with? It's like Kevin Garnett in all those years in Minnesota.
But
he made it to the finals when they finally got Sam Cassell.
Western Conference Finals.
The Western Conference Finals. Mm-hmm. He made it to the Western Conference Finals with Sam Cassell and Latrell Sprewell. Right. Wally Zerbiak was on that squad, right?
Wally's underrated, but we can keep it going.
Right. So he finally had some players that he can play with. Who was the players that Vince could play with in Toronto? Because they got rid of T-Mac. They had Mighty Mouse over there.
You gonna act like Damon Stoudemire wasn't like that?
No. I'm not saying that he wasn't like that. He was like that. He won Rookie of the Year with them. He was like that.
What year? What was the best year? What year was it the best year with Vince and the Raptors? It definitely wasn't the Akeem years, was it?
No.
Because this is my thing with Vince, right?
And I'm not saying that you're wrong about Vince Carter himself as far as saying that he was a nice guy.
I'm not even saying he's a nice guy. I'll
say that he was a nice guy.
I'm just saying that I don't think that. There's only a certain few players that got that dog in them.
Right.
And like I said,
but a lot of these dogs turn into puppies when they ain't got nobody to play with.
Did you say it happened to Kobe?
Yeah. Because when Kobe didn't have Shaq or Paul Gasol, where was he at?
He dropped 81
against Jalen Rose in the Toronto Raptors. What did Chauncey Billups and the Pistons say against that? They said, now, don't quote me on this. Go back and look at the interview. But Chauncey said, we don't doubt that you can drop 81 points against them. But you're going to have to work a whole lot harder to do that against us.
I believe it.
Okay?
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Because that's a squad that had Chauncey Billups, Richard Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, Rasheed Wallace, and my favorite center of all time, Ben Wallace.
Look, listen, you speak to the choir, okay? You know I'm a Piston guy. I got the Piston clothes on now.
But
what I'm saying is,
you asked the question.
Is Vince one of the greatest tools of all time? Is he?
That's up in the air for debate.
Is he better than Allen Iverson?
No.
All right then. And now one of my titles.
But that don't mean that he's not one of the greatest.
But I'm saying because listen, when you think of Michael Jordan, obviously, Kobe Bryant, clone, Dwayne Wade. Is Tracy McGrady one of the greatest tools of all time?
Well, Tracy was unique because Tracy could play the 1, Tracy could play the 2, Tracy could play the 3.
I'm saying.
It depends on how he felt that day.
But he was a 2. I'm talking about what you listed as. He was a 2.
Well, Tracy ran the 1s. Tracy played the 3.
Because there was a point where people were saying Tracy McGrady was better than Kobe, and I don't disagree.
Right. Yes. So, there was a time when he was better than Kobe.
All right then. So is Vince Carter better than that guy?
No. But that doesn't mean that he's not one of the greatest.
I'm asking, is he okay? So let's go. Clyde Drexler, is he better than Clyde Drexler?
That's debatable. Because Clyde Drexler didn't win his ring until when?
It was it Houston, right?
And who was the best player on Houston?
Hakeem.
All right. So are we going to ever level the playing field?
Well, didn't Vince play with Dallas, didn't he, at one point, right?
When he was very well past his time.
I'm just being devil advocate here. So
what I'm saying is when he still half man, half amazing.
It was questions about his motor, dude.
Which is fine. I'm not
It
discrediting
was questions,
that.
and it ain't me saying this. It was people
I'm
behind the
not
scenes
discrediting
saying
it.
this.
But we can look. We know the politics of the game. Okay, nobody wanted the championship to end in Toronto. That's why when they beat Golden State, like everybody was like, okay, well, had Clay not gotten hurt, that wouldn't have happened, or had Kevin Durant not gotten hurt, that wouldn't have happened.
Right.
They didn't want no championship in Toronto. That's the politics behind this.
Right.
So Vince was playing in the losing hand to begin with.
I'm not gonna argue with you on that.
They wasn't trying to have Toronto win a championship. Now, did Vince do everything that he personally could to win a championship in Toronto? That's debatable because, you know, there's a reason why things wasn't as obvious as the Sacramento Kings.
Right.
So did Vince Carter underachieve? Yes, to a degree. But if you was to put any of those other superstars in Vince's position, do they win? If you put Kobe there, do they win? If you put Michael Jordan there, do they win? If you put Allen Iverson there, do they make it to the finals?
Well, I mean, that's a good. Hey, I'm not gonna argue with you. Remember we had the discussion about
Right.
with Allen Iverson and then swapping LeBron James on that Philly team.
The only thing that I will say about that is they both made it to the finals with underachieving rosters. So they both was able to overcome bad help or play from their teammates.
Mm-hmm.
They both was able to overcome. Now, whether people want to say Allen Iverson chucked up a bunch of bricks or whether the people want to say that LeBron James fell short in the big moment, he got there.
Let me ask you this.
They both got there.
Let me ask you this. Do you feel like Vince Carter was lazy?
I can't say that he was lazy. I feel like because you can't be lazy and be one of the top players in the league, especially in that era. In the era that Vince Carter played in, you can't be, because Vince Carter was more than athleticism.
I told you that. I mean, I said he can do everything.
Right.
He was. I feel like Vince Carter. Do you feel like he put all the effort in that he could? How about that? Let me rephrase that.
Well, when you listen to Vince Carter talk, he sounds like a nice guy. So he just doesn't have the same levels.
So you saying he don't have a killer instinct?
He doesn't have the same levels as a Kobe.
You saying he don't have a killer instinct?
Well, if you call disrespecting your teammates a killer instinct, then you know.
Allen Iverson. Do you hear anything about Allen Iverson disrespecting his teammates?
No.
Right, but he had a killer instinct.
But Allen Iverson always felt like he had enough.
But that's
his mentality.
But guess what? That's when you have it in your chest. That you
right.
can feel like you could go out with any. I could pick up 5 dudes off the street and win. You're
right.
So I mean,
you're right. So I mean, look, I'm not saying Vince Carter is better than Allen Iverson. Like, Allen Iverson is going to be over Vince Carter to me every day of the week.
Right. So I'm asking you, do you feel like he gave it his 100% all? Because you have the teammates you have. It's what it is. You don't control that. I don't care how anybody want to say it. Like, I know they say LeBron James is a GM, but he's not. You don't control who you have on who your teammates is. You don't control that.
Look, I'll say with the person that I get the impression that Vince Carter is, based on when I hear him analyze things and based on when I hear him talk on certain talk shows. I can see Vince Carter, the version of Vince Carter that we got. I can see Vince Carter giving it his personal all.
Okay.
But as we always say, there's levels to this. I don't know why, but when you have Isaiah Thomas in the building, a guy who was a bad boy, Piston, who beat Michael Jordan on a number of bases, who had to beat the real Showtime Lakers, who had to beat the real Boston Celtics. It's just something that's just not in him.
So,
but in the same token, I ask myself, what would Vince Carter have done if he was paired with a Shaq? What would Vince Carter have done if he was paired with a Scottie Pippen? Because remember, Kobe Bryant was supposed to be drafted by the Charlotte Bobcats, I think it was
Hornets.
at the time.
It was the Hornets. It was Hornets.
It was the Hornets?
It was Hornets.
So he was supposed to be drafted by them.
I don't know how that happens where you end up going to L.A.
Well, you know, smoke screen stuff.
Okay.
You start lying about certain players just to get teams to, like, get discouraged from drafting a certain player.
Right,
and then they pass on him, and then he falls right into your lap.
Right. Okay.
You know? So, like, how many wins or championships would Kobe have gotten if he would have started off his career with the Charlotte Hornets? How much longer would it have taken Kobe Bryant to turn into Kobe?
Well, you know, that all depends because all that got to fall in front office, got to believe in you and all that type. It's all, that's where we start talking politics.
Yes, this is a politics, like you said the other day in our private conversation. The minute you start incorporating business into anything, what'd you say? It's no longer 100% authentic.
Yeah, when you put entertainment in the business, it's no longer authentic.
It's
what
no
it is.
longer 100% authentic. So the NBA is a business.
Yeah.
And they make money off of certain brands. And when certain brands are playing in certain games, that brings them the most revenue or the most money.
Well, that's when things be influenced. That's why you see a lot of things with referees and all that stuff because of the entertainment aspect of the game because they don't want to see certain people in finals. Hence to why I don't think the Nuggets, they ever wanted Denver in the finals.
Exactly.
I don't think that they want that to happen. But you wouldn't you want a Vince Carter in the finals?
He didn't demand that. He didn't demand that personally.
His style of play didn't demand that in the finals?
Not saying that he wouldn't have got the oohs and ahs that people wanted to see. But like I said, Vince is a nice guy.
He has the prettiest game next to Kyrie.
I am not going to go that far.
Hold on. Who got a better looking game than Kyrie?
I'm not going to go that far. Because the only reason why I'm not going to go that far is because so much of Vince's love affair that the fans have with him is from his dunking ability.
But you listen,
it's not from his ability to cross over. It's not from his ability to make a three-point shot or a mid-range shot.
But like I said before, right? How Vince play in the air is how Kyrie handled that rock.
Okay.
And you showed me footage yourself, pulled it up like, yo, it's some of the coldest. You showed me this at the crib. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo.
Yeah, but we could come up with a number of guys that was very athletic that finished in traffic.
I don't think there's anybody that dunked like Vince in the air. I don't care any era. There's nobody that dunked like Vince in game in the NBA. Now I don't know.
I mean, look, okay, so that's relevant.
Just like handling the rock.
So that's relative because Vince had a way to make it look smooth and
That's
easy.
what I'm saying. Like with the hammer.
He had to make a way. Okay, so do you want to watch somebody that makes it look smooth and easy, or do you want to watch somebody that is like trying to put the hammer down all the time?
I mean, the way look.
Okay,
hammer,
so like let's
who's
compare
the hammer dudes? Like what?
Stromile Swift,
That was my dude.
Sean Kemp,
Stromile was my dude. I'm not gonna. Sean Kemp was but
Kenyon Martin.
But Kenyon Martin's my favorite power forward of all time. I'm not saying he's better than Tim Duncan and them. I'm just saying he's my favorite. But I'm not gonna sit there and tell you Kenyon Martin dunks look better than Vince's.
Kenyon Martin's is more violent.
Cold-blooded, two-handed, slap the glass,
like Kenyon Martin's,
lob, dog.
Kenyon Martin's, Stromile Swifts, they're more violent.
I mean, Stromile dunked on the whole Bulls roster.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, but
and Vince Carter, it just looks like.
But it was art in the air.
It looks like somebody dancing in the air.
Exactly. But just like Kyrie handling that rock. When I say the game look like when you could make dunks like look, man, Vince dunks is artistic like.
Okay, so to me, he's the best in game.
He's the best in game dunker. Period.
He's the best dunker. Period. To me,
just like Kyrie's the best handler. Who said that he's the best skilled player of all time? I gotta look at the quote. Somebody said that. Do you agree with that?
You can make a debate for it.
That he's the most skilled player of all time.
You can make a debate for it, but skilled player doesn't mean best player.
But defense, ain't that a skill?
So when they say comments like that about Kyrie, they saying comments like that referring to with the ball in his hand. With the ball in his hand. Not saying he's a great defensive player, but with the ball in his hand, he's one of the funnest guys to watch with the ball in his hand.
I mean, he cold. I mean, but when I talk about Kyrie, he had every move has a purpose. He not just standing in one position. He's either going. He every move has a purpose. He's going somewhere with it.
Well, remember that Iman Shumpert interview? He said that Kyrie plays defense with the ball. So anytime you try to take the ball, he's really good at stopping.
Salute to Iman Shumpert. That's an underrated comment.
Right. He plays defense with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, it's how you want it.
What they say back there, they keep away?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we veered far off track.
I don't even remember. I mean, listen.
We were supposed to be on top 10.
This off the cuff.
Off the cuff.
Today is off the cuff. This first episode is off the cuff.
Right.
So we will have listen.
So Vince Carter, did he underachieve for his abilities? Yes, when you're talking about rings and finals appearances.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at his supporting cast, I guess you got to ask yourself the question, did he really underachieve?
If you put Kobe on that Raptors team,
how far did they go?
I'm asking you.
How far did they go? Because we kind of seen how far they would go. You give Kobe nobody, what does he accomplish?
Kobe get frustrated and lose it.
Okay, then. I mean, like, I don't know why. Look, okay, so as a basketball fan, don't lie to yourself about accomplishments that certain players have or you think they had because of their superstardom. Don't lie to yourself about that. Wasn't it Gilbert Arenas? He said that, all them years that Michael Jordan was averaging 30 whatever points and wasn't winning anything about it. Didn't mean a thing then. It didn't translate to winning.
Listen.
So, I mean, even though those were the beginning years of Michael Jordan.
I mean, it was like 9 years, wasn't it? 8, something like that.
When did
How many
Michael get
years?
drafted? Was it 84?
I gotta look. I mean, I know it was definitely before I was born. Know what I mean? So,
Okay.
because he played in the Olympics before he played in the NBA, right?
I don't remember that.
No, not the Dream Team, but he played like
Back when they was allowing like the college students to
Yeah.
play against the guys.
I gotta look and do my. I gotta look. I'm not. I want to say this 100% facts, but
Well, you know, I seen a clip. I think I sent it to you, where they was talking about how it was funny how Jordan went from having hair off season and being skinny and whatnot to one off season he was bald headed and bulked up a little bit.
listen, we gon' hey, you already know. Hey,
And people want to talk about the whole what was the drug called?
Balco.
Yes. People was trying to talk about the
Listen.
Balco and stuff like that
Listen, man.
on Brian. So anyway,
Listen, the first signs of steroid use is losing your hair. Okay, so I mean, but you know,
did he try to get ahead of this?
who? MJ.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna say this. Unpopular opinion to the people. If I'm competing against the greatest in the world, and if I can go undetected,
Right.
that's what it is. I'm not about to play myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially
Because
if
you don't know if he is.
Especially if you know who doing what, because it's like a fraternity. You know what's going on. I'm not about to sit there and play myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's what it is. I mean, I'm not about to sit here and lie.
I mean, T-Mac did say that he thought about taking steroids.
I mean, if he would have, if he would have, he probably, you know, you can tell who do what. I mean, at the end of the day,
Have a long career.
you can tell who do what, especially if you're playing at a. You can tell who do what. I'm gonna just say that.
All right. So back to this top
You know
10
what I mean?
as we make our final full circle back to
So
full circle back to.
we said Jokic.
We got Jokic number 1, and we still don't know who's
I mean, it
number
wasn't
2.
in no order because it's probably. I mean,
It
I
wasn't
don't
number 2, but we know who's in there.
Jokic, Doncic.
Bron,
Well, we throw Brown in there. Did you?
Anthony
Shea.
Edwards.
Anthony Edwards, Shea, right? Shea. He has to be right.
Shea, we still like going through the list to see where he falls. Because do you take Shea over Halliburton?
I think Shea's underrated, man.
That could be very well true.
I think Shea, because he plays with an OKC on his chest, that's a problem. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
but what does that OKC roster look like compared to that Indiana roster?
They better than Indiana's.
Yeah,
They
better.
just don't get the press.
They much better than Indiana.
If OKC got the press, they don't get the press.
I like Shea. I just want to see who the other names are that we come up with.
Okay, so we got,
Would you take Shea over Brunson?
dude. Yes, man. I'm not. Yes. Okay, yes, man. Like,
What is it that you got against Brunson?
I don't have nothing against Brunson, but is he really like? Look.
Have you been watching the Knicks?
Jalen Brunson is solid. He is good.
He's more than solid.
Look, he's good.
You know who's solid? You want to know who's solid?
Who?
Guys like Darius Garland. He's solid. Darius Garland is solid. Okay. Guys like Zach LaVine. He's solid. DeMar DeRozan has gotten to the point now. He's solid. DeJounte Murray. He's solid.
So you pretty much saying that Jalen
Brunson is beyond solid to me.
I said he's good. Is he great? You saying he great?
Look, in this NBA, in this current state of the NBA, I can make an argument for Jalen Brunson having more heart than a lot of these.
No, look, I'm not saying he don't have a heart. because
I'm not just talking about heart, but also the ability paired with it. Because Brunson, he can knock down a consistent 3-point shot in clutch moments. Brunson uses his body in the post at the point guard position in a way that a lot of players don't, that have the size. Jason Tatum.
Listen, Brunson.
Now, does he have the defense? That's a little bit of a concern.
Brunson.
But we gave Jokic a pass. Jokic don't play no defense, and he's the number one guy on our list.
But check with Brunson, though. Is he a tier 2 or tier 1 star?
That is debatable depending on who you got in tier 1.
Oh, man.
Depending on who you got in tier 1. Depending on who you got in tier 1.
You really... Dog, he in the same... Like,
Listen. Depending on
I think Tatum is tier 2.
Okay, Tatum
is tier 2. You think Brunson is above that?
I feel like Brunson doesn't have the Robin to support him. But if you
don't think Julius Randle good enough to be a Robin? Huh? You don't think he good enough to be a Robin?
Listen. He hasn't shown that. Has he shown that to you?
Julius Randle?
Yes. Has he shown that he can be a second option to you? Because the reason why I
think Julius Randle problem, if he just listen, I think Julius Randle issue. I think Julius Randle, he's not as bad as advertised, but he's not as good as he think he is. It's confused. He's not as good as he think he is, but he's not as bad as advertised.
So what does that mean?
That's what I'm saying. I think because Julius Randle isn't trash either.
I'm not saying that he's complete trash.
Yeah.
Like what I'm saying is, in the realm of 1 option, 2 option, 3 option, and role player, where
so OG Anunoby is 2 and Julius Randle 3?
No, I'm not saying that OG is better than Julius. I mean, he hasn't proven
Julius,
that yet.
He
hasn't proven that yet. But because of the team that they play on, Julius has to be the number 2. But nobody wants him to be the number 2.
I don't think anybody wants to be number 1.
Number 1, number 2, is Julius Randle better fit to be a
He's probably better
3?
fit to be a 3.
A 3.
In my opinion. But I don't think Julius Randle is garbage. So the thing is,
I never called him garbage.
I'm not saying you called him that. I'm just saying, but I also don't think Jalen Brunson is as cold as you think he is either.
No, but when you compare him to the rest of the league, what have they done?
Listen.
We
it's like trying to find.
We haven't
it's like trying to find
listed,
a good peach in a batch of bad rotten ones, dude.
We haven't even listed all of the names of the top players on
like
team.
I said in the beginning, it's hard to find 10. You know what I mean? Like it's hard.
Okay, so let's go. Let's go to the Western Conference, right?
Okay.
The Clippers.
Any of them top 10 to you?
Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, James Harden.
I don't think at this point any of them top 10 in the league as far as like I think they name is what it was. New Orleans.
Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson.
No.
All right. Phoenix. Devin
KD,
Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal.
I think that
has KD fallen out the top 10?
I don't think that's hard to answer.
KD has fallen out of your top 10?
I mean, I think KD obviously with his injuries, KD is one of the greatest scorers of all time.
Right.
Okay. But have you seen top 10 in the league from him this year?
No.
Okay then. So next. Next.
Let's see. We talked about Sacramento.
You think Devin Booker top 10?
Nah.
All right.
Nah. Sacramento, we talked about them, I believe. We talked about Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Bron on the Lakers, but we didn't talk about Anthony Davis.
Listen, look. Let me tell you something, man. AD at one point, remember I told you he was one of my favorite. He was my favorite power forward.
Okay.
Remember I told you that.
Okay.
But like AD's style of play, I love his style of play. And this year he's been healthy. I think the Lakers should be better than what they is.
But a lot of that has to do with him.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think AD, in my opinion, and I hate to say this, I just don't think he got it in his chest.
Okay. Look.
I don't think he have it in his chest. I love AD. I just don't think it's in his chest.
The eyes are bound to be opened eventually, so you know.
I mean, I don't think he have it in his chest. That's my guy.
So now I'm gonna say a name that is a champion, a 4-time champion at that.
I say Steph Curry, ain't you?
Steph Curry. Is he top 10?
In the league?
In this league that we live in right now, is Steph Curry top 10 to you? Because right now, who do we got? We got Jokic, Doncic, we got Bron.
Yeah.
Halliburton. Has Halliburton proven himself to be better than top 10? Is he better than Steph Curry right now? I mean, taking out past resumes, and we look at just this year alone. I think Halliburton showed that he's a better player than Steph Curry this year. But if you go by body,
you trying to get the show canceled already?
Look, man.
You trying to get the show canceled? You trying to get the show canceled?
I mean, you can debate that if you want.
It's the first episode, man.
Based on this year alone, not body of work. Not body of work. If we go body of work, Tyrese Halliburton is not top 10. But if we go by this year alone, Tyrese Halliburton has shown more value than a Steph Curry. And I don't know if that's because Steph Curry is off a little bit this year. Maybe it's because Klay Thompson is not what he used to be. Maybe it's even because Draymond Green is not who he used to be.
Listen, I'm not about to run from this. When it comes to Steph Curry, right?
He still scares the crap out of you.
The dude is, look.
I'll tell you this much. I'll take Steph Curry over Jason Tatum.
Come on, man. It's easy. Like, look, that's not a hard, come on, man. My sleep.
What about Jimmy Butler?
What?
You take Steph Curry over
yes,
Jimmy Butler?
Jimmy Butler. Listen, Jimmy Butler got in his chest. He don't have the ability.
Who did we have up there? Shea? You take Steph Curry over Shea? I'll take Steph Curry over Shea.
Listen, I'm more of a, and this is, I'm not being biased.
And that's just this year.
I'm more of a, I'm not, see, this is my thing. I'm a mid-range kind of dude. So asking a guy like me, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
okay,
I like Steph. I think Steph is dope.
But take your style out the picture.
It's hard to. When I like the mid-range more so than the three. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I like post-game mid-range over the three.
Me too.
I can't lie. So
me too.
It's
but
hard.
We're not talking about any kind of three. We talking about a Steph Curry kind of three.
But if Steph not hitting, like this is if
okay,
Steph's
so
not hitting,
let me ask you this
because
question.
let me say this.
Let me ask
if
you
a guy
this.
like Carmelo, if he not hitting in the mid-range, he can go down low. Like you,
right?
you
I hear what you're
you
saying.
Know what I'm saying? So,
but Steph Curry has shown that he can still be effective driving and finishing in traffic.
Floaters.
Not just floaters. Like, he has a crazy layup game. He does. That's part of the reason why Boston didn't win when they played. when they had Al Horford. And,
Or maybe they was just a choke job.
I mean, that could be the case, but we have no way to know.
Tatum.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like Tatum. I mean, come on now.
I
Like,
agree with you with Tatum. I agree with you with Tatum, but like Steph Curry was finishing in traffic before that.
Listen.
He was finishing in traffic before.
Is he a better finisher in traffic than Tony Parker?
You can debate that because that's not no clear answer. That's not no clear answer. Okay? I'm just saying.
All right.
Tony Parker had Tim Duncan down there. People was worried about that pass off. Because Tim Duncan wasn't playing out there in the perimeter. Draymond Green is not playing out there in the perimeter, nor is Draymond Green that kind of guy with the ball in the mid-range and in the block.
We've seen Draymond have decent scoring games, though.
Game 7.
I'm not saying that. I think Draymond is better than advertised. I think that his antics.
Okay, but I'm talking about his scoring ability. We know his brain is one of the top brains in the game. His brain can be up there with, as far as the active players in the league, he's probably second or third best brain in the league.
Right?
Because it's between him and Chris Paul.
Okay, so yes.
And if you talk about within this last decade or so, Rondo.
Would you take? Okay, so Steph,
Uh-huh.
because you was asking about Steph. Is
Right.
Steph a better point guard than Rajon Rondo?
No, he's not a better point guard than Rajon Rondo.
Steph is really a two guard, to be honest with you.
Exactly.
So you asking me?
But we talking about top 10
top 10. Is he right now today's game?
in today's game. Is he better than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
No.
He's not better than Shai.
Look at their record,
But it's not all about Shai.
bruh. Like dog. Like come on, man. Like
Have you looked at Oklahoma City at all?
Oklahoma's nice. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like I mean, but
They
Shai.
drafted well.
But listen,
They drafted real
do
good.
you think Shai don't get the props he deserves because no media attention?
Yeah. I do believe that Shai don't get the props that he deserves. My thing is,
Look, I think Steph shoots better than him.
who did they lose to last year?
Who?
The Thunder. Who did they lose to
playoffs?
last year? Because they was in the play-in game and they beat the Hornet, the Pelicans.
Okay.
That was when they refused to give the ball to my man
No, the Warriors
Valanciunas.
beat the Kings, right? So they beat the Kings.
The
I was
Warriors
very
beat the
upset about that.
Kings.
I was heated about that. And then I gotta look.
The Lakers beat the Warriors.
No, wait. I'm talking about the first round.
Okay.
Because I think the Kings lost to the Warriors. I thought the Kings
Yeah,
was
the
gonna beat them.
the Kings lost to the Warriors.
The Kings should have beat them.
The Nuggets beat. Who did the Nuggets play? I don't remember. We got to pull it up.
Yeah, that's something got to be pulled up.
Who did Lakers beat?
They went to West Conference Finals, didn't they?
Yeah, they went to the
don't
West
even remember.
Conference Finals last year.
I don't even remember, to be honest with you.
They played Sacramento
foggy.
in the second round.
No, they couldn't have played Sacramento second round.
They beat Minnesota. Was it in the play-in? Or was it in the 7-game series?
But even if it was a 7-game series, I wouldn't be surprised they beat Minnesota.
Yeah, I know.
I wouldn't be surprised about that. But so Steph over Shai, I mean,
When Steph shoots, do you think it's going in?
for the most part. I mean, do you not? I mean, Steph is like, look, if people doubt that Steph is he the greatest shooter?
I think that's debatable because I feel like that's relative to this era for
Right.
Steph Curry. I feel like if you take shooters like Ray Allen, if you take shooters like Reggie Miller, and you put them in this era where they can have this many 3-point shot attempts.
But do they scare you as much as Steph though? Ray Allen don't scare
No,
me
because
as
they
much as
take
Steph.
no, because they take what would be called traditionally smart 3-point shots. Steph Curry takes unorthodox.
And that's the scary part.
Right.
So I think, look, I don't think it's really a debate when it comes to shooting the basketball. Who's more? I don't even think Dame is better than Steph as far as shooting, like in game. I just don't think so. I think Steph makes his degree of difficulty of shots, bro.
Well, remember
Crazy.
before Steph Curry, we was talking about Kevin Durant
And what?
as being one of the best shooters in the league. Before Steph Curry popped off, Kevin Durant had the ring of being the deadliest shooter in the league.
He was viewed as that, or was it a scorer?
He was viewed as that because Steph Curry's Kevin Durant's shooting ability from anywhere on the floor, anywhere on the floor, and his shooting ability against any defense.
Right.
Against any defense. Steph Curry can't say that he dominated any defense because a lot of his shots would be normally considered as bad shots. And his bad shots for most people in the world, they don't go in. And so we're talking about a different animal here.
Mm-hmm.
But Klay Thompson, I feel, is a better set shooter than Steph Curry.
I've told you that before. I feel like Klay is more.
But if it comes down to it, Steph Curry doesn't have the resume of clutch shots.
Well, I mean, is that a political thing?
I don't think it's a political thing. I think it's a reality thing. When I say a reality thing, when Golden State was at their top, Steph Curry didn't need to make game-winning shots because they was up 20 in the fourth quarter. They was up 20 in the fourth quarter. They didn't need him to do all of that.
Okay.
So he didn't get tested in that area until the finals. When after Kyrie Irving made the shot, right?
I will say this regarding to Steph. I don't think there's anything wrong right now with Steph not being in the top 10 because, look, how old is Steph? 36, 35?
I don't know.
He in the back end of his career.
Is he?
And he is at this point. He is. He's 35, 36. He's like 35,
with that
bro.
shooting ability?
I mean, just because you can shoot. I mean, look, I'm talking. Listen, does Steph look like the same Steph he was when they was like first championship Steph?
First championship Steph?
Listen, he slowed down. We know that, right?
Yeah, but
that don't mean they say the shooting is the last thing to go. Steph gonna be able to shoot when he's 70, bro. Like that don't mean nothing. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but just because he can shoot the way he
Allen
can shoot,
Houston, I seen Allen Houston rain in threes. Still,
yes, I understand what you're saying. I'm talking about actually competing in the NBA arena.
Right. That don't look just because look, Steph is already he etched in stone as one of the greats.
A whole lot of people got him etched in stone as the greatest shooter ever play.
That's
And and my question to that or to them would be, okay, so if the game is on the line, are you trusting Steph Curry or are you trusting Reggie Miller?
Steph made some cold shots, fam. I'm not even gonna hold you up from
But
this.
I'm talking about clutch.
Clutch. Steph not clutch.
How many clutch shots does he got on his resume? He hasn't been tested to fitness in that aspect. Because like I said, they was normally always up 20. Steph Curry doesn't normally have... When Golden State was at their peak, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson was sitting down for the majority of the fourth quarter. They were sitting down. They were sitting down, resting, thinking about who the next opponent was. Draymond Green, he was sitting down too, probably. Reggie Miller got more clutch shots than Steph Curry on his resume.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate here. Let me
Go ahead.
Let me do this. Is Robert Horry a better 3-point shooter than Steph Curry?
No, but he got more clutch
This
shots.
dude got mad clutch shots though.
He got mad clutch.
Mad clutch.
But we talking about.
But I'm asking the question.
See,
here.
but now you comparing apples to oranges.
Can you say that about Reggie Miller and Steph Curry?
No, because they both 3-point shooting specialists. So you comparing apples to apples.
Dog, look.
They both play the same style. Reggie Miller don't got no handle where he can create his own shot.
So do they play the same style?
They both run off of screens.
Right, but Steph could take you off the dribble though.
Yeah, Steph can take you off the dribble, but
remember they was comparing, they was asking the question, which I thought was absurd, but they was asking this: who got the better handle, Kyrie or Steph? Remember that, right?
Yeah, which
Steph,
was kind of an ignorant
Reggie
conversation.
Reggie was never viewed as a dude with a handle. He was compared to Richard Hamilton.
Right,
but Richard Hamilton is compared to him.
In the half-court game, they played the same style.
Reggie and Steph?
Yes, because you can count on your hand how many screens Steph runs around. And you can do the same thing with Reggie Miller.
Is it a bad thing to run off screens?
No, it's basketball.
Right.
It's basketball.
So you can't penalize.
No, we're not penalizing nobody for doing that, but that's why I'm comparing them two to each other.
You think they got a similar style of play?
They both run off screens. That's the primary way to get the offense going.
Listen, this the thing. The reason why I don't compare them two is because when they said, when Reggie said himself, Richard Hamilton is the same player as him. He said that out of his own lips to the referee. You know what I'm saying?
Just in the mid.
When he was copping pleas. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm just saying, like, you know, Rip, I will never look at him and say he have a handle. Reggie don't have one either. Steph has one. So even if he don't have screens available, he takes you off the dribble.
Depending on who the matchup is. Depending on who the matchup is. Because Steph Curry, he gets the mismatch a lot with centers. And then when he gets the center, in the big games, at least, in the big games, he gets the mismatch with the center, and he takes him off the dribble. And he can manipulate the center to get whatever shots that he wants. So if we talking about just shooting, Reggie Miller, he deserves a right at that table.
No, I'm not saying.
And no, I'm not saying that you're saying that he don't. But when you're talking about making the big shots in the biggest moments of the game, Reggie Miller has more on his resume than Steph does. Now, Steph, he made a living off of winning that third quarter. The Golden State Warriors, their greatest separation normally happens in that third quarter.
Right.
And by the time the fourth quarter comes, they expecting the other team to throw in the towel because they down 20 plus, and Steph and Clay is sitting down. But given this is in the era where pulling up from three from anywhere is acceptable, Reggie Miller comes from an era where that wasn't the case.
So
Reggie Miller comes from an era where, okay, you're going to take a calculated three.
I don't think anything's wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is, okay, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, the pair of them together, they probably take 20 shots at three, maybe 25 together per game at minimum.
Right.
Reggie Miller, how many shots does he take at three per game?
It's not as many as Steph. Clay in it.
Okay. So if you give Reggie Miller the green light to pull up from anywhere where he feels comfortable like them, what is Reggie Miller's percentage looking like?
Is Reggie's range that deep?
Does it need to be?
I'm asking a question.
Does it need to be?
I mean, they take some wild shots.
All that matters is that you behind that 3-point line. It doesn't matter how far behind. The only thing that matters is that you behind that 3-point line.
You know, that's where the problem comes in when you start comparing errors.
That's why it's hard to do it.
That's where the issue, because the style of play is so different.
Yes.
It's very, very, very different. Like, because the shots that Steph shoots, Dame shoots.
They are
I
bad
can't say
shots
Clay
for
shoots.
the average
Clay
NBA player.
Clay shoots shots that's a 90s style.
Okay, yes.
He don't shoot super
except
far.
for when he's really on. Because when he's really on, when like Klay Thompson had his moment, like he had the most points in the quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he had that moment, it was like, oh, I feel good. I'm shooting it right now. I don't care that you're standing right there.
But it was wet though.
But that's the point.
How often does that happen? Ain't nothing wrong with a heat check. They did heat checks back in the 90s.
Look.
You know what I mean?
Look.
Did they not do heat checks in the 90s?
I'm not saying that they didn't. What I'm saying is Klay Thompson, he was given the green light to pull up whenever he felt. Whenever he felt, because he shot at that higher percentage.
Right.
And so all I'm asking is if Reggie Miller got that same kind of green light to pull up wherever he felt instead of running the play, how much more effective is Reggie Miller?
Listen, Reggie Miller is one of the greats, point blank, period. Reggie Miller,
he's one of the greatest shooters.
He's one of the greats because look. Didn't they go to the final? Like, Reggie Miller always been in the conversation.
To the finals?
He didn't go to the finals with the Pacers? Didn't they face the Lakers in the finals that one year?
Man, look, I'm going to tell you right now. Reggie Miller in the finals. So
let me Google this. I could have sworn they was in the finals, dog.
Look, I'm not saying that you're wrong. What I'm saying is the caliber of player, as far as what he's individually capable of.
Because
when you think of Reggie Miller, do you think he has a handle to create his own shot?
He don't. Like, I don't think he needed to, because look,
but
Reggie Miller was popping all the way back then, all the way to the Jermaine O'Neal days.
But I'm asking you, does Reggie Miller have the kind of game where he can have the handle to create his own shot?
No.
Does Reggie Miller? Would you say that Reggie Miller needs a screen to get a shot off?
He had one appearance in the NBA. Hold on, wait. He played in the 2000 NBA Finals. And I knew he did. But look, listen. Everybody,
Does he need a screen?
Hold on, wait, listen.
That's what I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Does he need a screen to get a shot off?
Yes. Well, yeah, he does. But
okay,
how many people?
So we talking about Steph, Clay, and and Curry.
But how many elite ball handlers is there in out the history of the league?
You don't need to be elite to get your own shot. You don't need to be elite to get your own shot. Does DeMar DeRozan have an elite handle? Does LeBron have an elite handle? Does Kobe have an elite handle? Does Michael Jordan have an elite handle?
But it's better than the average.
That's not what we're talking about. We talking about elite.
And when we come to getting your own shot, right? It's not all about. Let me correct my own self. It's not just about the handle. It's about the footwork and position too.
Okay. All of that factored in.
That I gotta correct myself with that. You know what I'm saying?
So did Reggie Miller have that?
I told you Reggie Miller and Richard Hamilton is the same dude. Zero handle.
That you're not answering my question. Does Reggie Miller have all of that? Does Klay Thompson have all of that?
So look. No, they don't have great handles to get their own shot. They don't. But does that take away from who they are?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't take away from who they are, but when you start comparing players and you start saying this player is better than that player, then you have to factor in everything that each player brings to the table.
Now, when you say better than that player, because Reggie played with the Jermaine O'Neal Pacers.
Yes. He was part of the Brawl team.
Do you feel like that Pacers team should be a champion?
Yes. Had that Brawl would have never happened, I'm going to
disagree with you there.
They probably would have won.
I will disagree with you 100% there because Detroit.
Well, they had Detroit's number that year. How much was they up on Detroit when that Brawl happened?
That was a regular season game.
No, but they didn't take it as a regular season game. They didn't take it as a regular season game. They took it as this is the biggest threat to us.
The Lakers beat the Blazers in the playoffs, right?
Yes.
Didn't the Blazers whoop them by 30 points in one of them games?
That could be the case.
Okay then.
But but we excusing the new addition.
What?
Steven Jackson was a new addition to that team. And I know Steven Jackson is not all that in a bag of potato chips. But Steven Jackson is good enough to...
Well, Steven Jackson better than Tayshaun Prince to you. Oh, you thinking about this, huh?
I really am.
Oh, that's crazy.
I really am.
Man.
Because Steven Jackson contributed... How many championships did he win with the Spurs?
Dude, are you serious? Are you serious?
I'm seriously thinking about this.
You serious?
I'm seriously thinking about this.
Because what option was he on the Spurs?
No. I'm not just talking about the Spurs. Look at him on the Bobcats.
Okay.
They made the playoffs.
It was him and Crash, right?
Him and
Gerald
Wallace. If you put Tayshaun Prince in that same position. Did he get out
the first round?
If you put Tayshaun Prince in that same position, what happens?
I can't say because Tayshaun Prince, he didn't get a chance to really. I think Tayshaun Prince, Tayshaun Prince handled his business with Minnesota as well when he was over there.
But what did they do?
Who was on the roster?
Who was on the Bobcats?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
Who was on the Bobcats?
and then he was in the West as well, too. The Bobcats is in the East. The Bobcats in the East. You know what I mean? Like, you serious? Like, they're in the East.
Look, the point doesn't change.
Listen, Steven Jackson, I know he probably would say he was better than Tayshaun Prince. Steven Jackson said he was better than Vince Carter.
But Steven Jackson contributed
Wow,
to more
like,
championship. Well, not championship.
Dude,
Steven Jackson contributed to more playoff teams.
He played with Tim Duncan and them.
I'm not just talking about them.
Man, like, what?
Did you forget that Steven Jackson was on that Golden State Warriors team?
With Baron Davis?
Yes.
I salute that team. That was a very...
They was the 8th seed.
But look who he plays with.
Who did they beat in the first round?
Who's on that Mavericks team?
They was the number 1 seed.
It was
They was the number 1 seed. They was the number 1 seed. The number 1 seed in the West. In the West. The number 1 seed. The number 8 seed beat them, and Steven Jackson was part of that number 8 team. It was him, Matt Barnes, Jason Richardson, Baron Davis, Monte Ellis.
If you look at that roster, like, if you really, like, look at that, who you taking? Seriously.
I'm saying the number 1
Are
seed.
you taking Dallas or are you taking Golden
The
State?
number 1 seed should win every time. The number
Are
1
you
seed.
taking Dallas or Golden State?
The number 1 seed should
Dude, are
win
you taking
every time.
Dallas or Golden State?
The number
And
1
you told me how you
seed-
feel about Monte Ellis.
The
So
number,
we not gonna play these
yes,
games.
He was
So,
my favorite player
on that roster.
during the time after that.
Was that a
because
real?
he
Was that
coming
a
off
real
the bench.
8th seed?
Based on Western Conference standards.
Was that a real life 8th seed?
Based on Western Conference standards, they was.
Is that 8th seed talent?
Listen, look,
I'm asking the question. Is it 8th seed talent?
it has to be. They was together for how many games? 82? They was together for 82 games. And you want to tell me that 82 games is not enough to show me who they really was.
But they beat. They told you who they was. They beat the number 1 seed in the West.
They beat the number 1 seed.
But who was on that roster?
I already told you.
Was
who
Steven
on-
Jackson the best guy on the roster?
No.
He wasn't better than Baron Davis, was he?
No.
Has Steven Jackson ever really been the best player on the roster outside
Has
the
Tayshaun
Bobcats?
Prince?
He played with Detroit his whole career besides Minnesota.
But you.
And then he played for the Grizzlies, I think, right?
But that's who you compared him to.
Steven Jackson?
Yes.
So Steven Jackson not better than Tayshaun Prince. I'm not about to even sit there and play that game with you, man. Like, Steven Jackson, you think Steven Jackson better than Tayshaun Prince?
I think it's a debate. It's very debatable. It's very debatable.
Do you not, let me ask you, do you think sometimes folks are a product of their environment or lucky?
Yes, for sure. Tayshaun Prince. Product of his environment. Lucky.
So with Steven,
With the Pistons.
Is that not the same thing with Steven Jackson and the Spurs?
I'm not saying that.
Because the
that's not
Spurs
case.
was winning championships with him or without him.
With him or
Now, would
without
Detroit win a championship without Tayshaun Prince?
him. That year?
I think the Spurs win without Steven Jackson. I don't think Detroit win without Tayshaun.
Well, why didn't they win another one? Wasn't Steven Jackson part of that Spurs team that they lost to this year after
We lost
that?
by like 6.
They lost.
It was a chess match.
It doesn't matter.
Look, let me tell you
it
something.
doesn't matter.
Let me tell you something.
It doesn't matter. They
Let me tell you something.
lost.
Let me tell you something. And went 7. It was mistakes being.
Is Duncan better than Shaq?
What you mean? As far as like what?
As far as being the number 1 option for the other team that you got to plan
They're
for.
both number 1s.
Exactly.
That equals everything out. I don't have to answer.
Is
that question.
Duncan better than Shaq?
I don't even think that requires an answer. They're both number 1 dudes.
Okay. Is Tony Parker better than Kobe?
No. What? No. No.
So,
Why?
So why'd y'all lose?
Who?
The
The
Pistons.
Pistons? Dude, we have, like, look, they play the exact same. Listen, if you want to watch, let me tell you something. When it comes to Spurs and basketball, if you want to watch, this is how you play basketball. You put in that. You know what I'm saying? This is what you do. There's nothing fancy. This is literally the same. It's about it's about makes and misses at that point. It's literally about makes and misses.
So who made more?
The Spurs, clearly. And it was by like 6 or 7 points, dude. Like, it is what it is. I mean, that could have went
Them
either
6
way.
or 7 points matters.
It could have went.
Them 6 or 7 points matters.
It's either way.
Them
that
6
was
or
an
7
either way
points
situation.
matters.
That was an either way situation. I was hurt. I was at work when I heard.
Okay, so if it was an either way situation, how come they didn't go back again the next year?
Who?
The Pistons.
The Spurs didn't either.
Why didn't?
Are you kidding me?
But why didn't the Pistons
The Spurs
go
never
back?
even went back to back.
But why didn't the Pistons?
At least
go
the
back?
Pistons went to the finals twice in a row.
But why didn't the Pistons go back?
Because they was tweaking. That's why.
They was tweaking.
Your man's LeBron. He started his reign. You know what I mean? That's what happened. That's what happened. LeBron started his reign, and it was it at that point. He went to how many finals he went to? The finals he went 9 years in a row.
Something like that.
He was in the finals 9 years in a row.
It was something stupid. Okay.
So once at that point, we ain't even
like I said, you haven't given me no clear reason why this is not debatable.
What with Steph?
With Steven Jackson and Chasson Prince.
Dude, Chasson Prince is better than him overall, dude. Like, are you serious?
I understand the love.
So I mean not Steph, my bad. But Steven Jackson, offensively better than Tayshaun.
That's very debatable. That's very
So
debatable.
do
Who's
Steven,
more consistent of a shooter, Tayshaun Prince or Steven Jackson?
hold on, hold on. Let me get to this point.
We
though.
asking these questions
Because it's
right here for a
overall,
reason.
right? So therefore, can Steven Jackson score in the paint like Tayshaun? Because that kind of evens it out right there.
Is Tayshaun really that cold in the paint?
He's better than Steven Jackson.
But is he really that cold?
He's better than Steven Jackson.
But Steven Jackson's 3 is worth more than Tayshaun Prince's 2.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Are you gonna bank on the Steven Jackson 3 or in the paint shot?
Well, anytime you get closer to the
Okay
basket,
then.
that's a
So
higher
therefore,
percentage shot.
all right then.
But
I'm banking on a
why
higher
didn't
percentage.
it matter?
So who's the better defender here?
Tayshaun Prince.
All right then. So therefore,
I'm not saying that Tayshaun
so
Prince is
when we put this on the weight scale, what is that then?
But you acting like Steven Jackson is way off.
On defense?
Yes.
Who is he shutting down?
It's not about shutting
Who is he shutting down?
If Tayshaun Prince doesn't have that length, who is he?
I can't help the genes and genetics. it is what it is. Know what I'm saying?
Is he working for UPS?
Huh?
Does Amazon want to give him a chance? I ain't going to disrespect Tayshaun Prince like that. Okay, because I like the Pistons. You're not going to turn me into a Piston hater. Okay? You're not. By trying to flip Steven Jackson into that. Okay? Steven Jackson was ready to ride or die. Steven Jackson was ready to ride or die. One of his right-hand hook made national news. Okay?
You talking about the crowd?
Yes.
That wasn't good. Like, you know.
I know it wasn't good, but it was good for the team. It was good for the team. You mean to tell me that it doesn't make you feel good as a player to know that when things go left, you got a teammate that's willing to ride with you when things go left?
I'm not saying you wrong for that, but I'm a Pistons fan, okay?
Well, why they throw the drink?
Huh?
They the ones that threw the drink. They the ones that threw the drink.
I can't defend
They
that.
the ones that threw the drink.
I can't defend that.
It was them that started that whole mess.
I can't defend that.
If they didn't start that whole mess, the Pacers will probably have a ring.
They wouldn't have a ring, dude. that wouldn't have a ring.
I said probably.
If we go, was Jamal Tinsley on that roster?
Yes.
He better than Chauncey Billups?
I'm not saying that.
No. You said they'll have a ring, brother.
I said
if Jamal Tinsley better than Chauncey Billups?
no.
Who was their 2 guard? Was it one Travis Best? Was it?
No, that was Steven Jackson.
He better than Richard Hamilton?
I'm not saying that he's better at Rip Hamilton at moving around, but he can equalize the impact.
So who was A3? Austin Crocier?
No, Ron Artest was
Ron
A3.
Artest, Tayshaun Prince.
Now you want to talk about some stuff? Go ahead. Let's go ahead and go there.
Listen, I'm gonna throw the flag in. Ron Artest is cold. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Now, Jermaine O'Neal and Rasheed.
I'm sorry. I'm going Jermaine. I'm sorry. Jermaine is better than Rasheed in my mind. In my mind. Not that Rasheed is bad, but
I gotta interject my. Who's better, Rasheed Wallace or Jermaine O'Neal?
We're not talking about overall career.
Who's better, Rasheed Wallace?
We're not talking about overall career.
Who's better,
We're
Rasheed Wallace
talking
or Jermaine
about
O'Neal?
that year.
Who's better, Rasheed? Jermaine O'Neal.
Thank you,
disrespect me
Lewisha.
like this?
Thank you,
You gonna
Lewisha.
disrespect me like this?
Thank you, Lewisha.
So you like he better than Rasheed Wallace?
Jermaine O'Neal was better than Rasheed Wallace at that point. This
And
isn't
Rasheed wasn't?
This isn't Portland Rasheed. This isn't Portland Rasheed. He's not as athletic anymore. Rasheed Wallace is not as athletic.
Who will be in the Hall of Fame first?
Well, obviously Rasheed because he's got the ring. Because he's got the ring. But when
Who
you
was
talk
playing under Rasheed in
Who's-
Portland? Who was playing under Rasheed? Hold on, man. Who was playing under Rasheed in Portland?
What? Who you want to say, Sabonis?
Jermaine O'Neal. He had to go to Indiana. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I mean, because when politics get in the way of who's starting the
So,
better player,
Who was the center for the Pacers? It was Austin Crocier, right? Who was the center? No, it was
wasn't it Foster, Mason Foster, or something like
Foster.
that? Something like that.
Ben
something
Wallace.
like that.
Come on, man. Like so.
Look, but
Listen.
okay. So offensively, what has Ben giving you that he's not?
That elite defense.
No, I said offensively.
We ain't talking about. We had
I
enough
said
offense.
offensively.
We had enough offense.
I said
Chauncey is
offensively.
enough. Listen, Chauncey, Rip, Tayshaun.
Okay, coming off the bench, Reggie.
Who?
Coming off the bench is Reggie.
Reggie was going off the bench.
You think he was starting over Steven Jackson? Remember, Reggie was in a suit.
I'm trying to think. He was hurt, wasn't he?
Probably, but whatever the case may be, if you have Steven Jackson or Reggie Miller coming off the bench, who's coming
Our
off the
bench alone beats them. We had too much depth. You said that yourself.
the year that y'all won a championship, but the following year, that doesn't mean that.
So you believe that the Pacers would have beat the Spurs? Let's say they would have went to the finals. Let's say they would have went to the finals, which I don't think they would have went to the finals. Because I'm Detroit through red and blue all day long.
I'm not
about to listen.
I'm not-
red and blue all day long, bad boy, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? I'm Detroit Pistons through and through just like you a Magic. You know what I'm saying? Ain't you a Seminole?
Listen, look.
You repping the Seminoles
I'm
all
gonna
day.
tell
ain't
you right now.
I'm not about to sit there and
The
deviate
Pacers would have a spade in their hand that the Pistons
against the
wouldn't.
Spurs.
Yes, because they have somebody that was in the building on their roster.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? That means that Steven Jackson can pretty much tell you every play that they about to run. And he can tell you how they're going to run it. That he can tell you who on the team likes to do what. And when it comes time for it to happen, you can adjust to it based on that knowledge that you get. Because teams do this.
But if you can't stop something, it's what it is. Is Jermaine O'Neal better than Tim Duncan?
No, he's not.
What
better
is
than Tim
Jermaine
Duncan.
O'Neal doing with Tim Duncan?
He's still putting 20 plus on him.
Was Dave Robinson wasn't there, was he?
No, Dave Robinson was gone.
He left
by
it
then.
like what?
Dave Robinson was gone by then.
He was gone.
Dave Robinson was gone. But you act like Tim can guard Jermaine O'Neal. He can't guard him.
Let me ask you a question.
They can't guard each
Let
other.
me ask you a question. Tim Duncan is supposedly the greatest power forward of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Is Jermaine O'Neal?
Is he the greatest?
No, they say Tim Duncan is the greatest power forward of all time, right?
Right, and I
Is
agree.
Jermaine O'Neal?
Is he the greatest power forward?
Is he in that conversation as the greatest
No.
power forward of all time? Okay, then.
No.
They're not even in the same. They're not sitting at the same table.
But that doesn't mean that Tim Duncan can stop Jermaine O'Neal. Jermaine O'Neal is going to get his 20.
I think Tim Duncan's a very underrated defender.
He can be. He can be all of that. He can be all of that. But you know what talent existed at the power forward position in that era?
It was a lot, and Tim Duncan was still above everyone. Still,
He was above everyone.
that
But
look,
that
dog. You had
doesn't
Chris
mean-
Webber and all them, Kevin Garnett, and guess who was at the top? Tim
But-
Duncan. And I
but-
don't even like Tim Duncan.
But that
you
doesn't
know how
mean-
hard and how bad that hurt to say that.
But-
I can't stand Tim Duncan.
But that doesn't mean that Tim Duncan didn't get his 20 piece in a biscuit too. He got his too.
But I'm saying Tim Duncan sat at the top of all these cold fours still.
That's fine.
Still.
That's fine.
And I don't even like. I'm a Piston.
I'm
I don't
not
even rock with
disagreeing.
Tim.
That's
the
why
Spurs
I said
give me a headache.
probably they have a ring.
The Spurs?
No,
I mean the
the
Pacers.
Pacers.
I mean.
They probably have a ring.
I mean Jamal Tinsley stopping Tony Parker. Who's stopping Ginobili?
Ron Artest. Ron Artest. Ron Artest giving him that American trash talk in his ear.
I don't think Ginobili cares about trash talk, bro.
Well, look.
I don't think he pays any mind to that.
Well, we have yet
Robert,
to
one
see-
of Robert Horry there.
we have yet to see Ginobili operate in an area where he's the main focus.
He don't have to be.
That's fine. But we haven't seen him operate in that era. But like I said, when you have somebody that was a winner in your building go to another team that you have to play against, he can give the other team all the game that they need to give them the best chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
Because being in the building, he knows every play that you run. He knows every player's tendencies. And he knows how to defend that.
Who was their coach at the time? It wasn't Carlisle, was it?
I think it was Rick Carlisle.
Was it?
But I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was Rick Carlisle. And let's not forget, Reggie Miller was still on the team.
Reggie Miller's.
He's still on the team.
Listen, Reggie Miller's one of the greats.
Okay.
I feel like
So if Reggie Miller's playing, are you taking Ginobili over Reggie?
let me tell you something about Ginobili. I think Ginobili.
Tim Duncan and Jermaine O'Neal almost cancel out.
I mean, Jermaine O'Neal's my guy, but I'm not about to say that because let me tell you something. I
Can
have a
Tim
hard time
Duncan
saying
guard
that.
Jermaine O'Neal? Can Tim Duncan guard Jermaine O'Neal? That's essentially what we asking here.
Well, you said they cancel each other out, so it's
Yes,
like Pokemon.
they
So,
cancel each other
you're
out.
right.
So it's going to come
It's
down
an
to
even
the other
thing there.
guys. It's going to come down to the other guys. It's going to come down to the other guys. Okay?
I don't think Reggie can stop Ginobili.
Can Ginobili stop Reggie?
Yes. They both terrible at defense. But, I mean, at least, but Ginobili can create his own shot. Are you going to say he can't?
But what does that matter?
Reggie can't.
Yeah, but if you run
So
the
you
right,
could throw the ball to
but if
Ginobili
you run
on
the
the
right
ISO.
play for him, but if you run the
Yeah,
right,
but you don't have to run a play for Ginobili. If it get ugly, Ginobili can get that thing and handle his business. Reggie
Okay.
can't.
Okay, so you forgetting who else is on the team? You got Ron Artest, you got Steven Jackson.
Okay, what that mean?
What that means is you relying on.
Did Ginobili not have the greatest Euro step of all time?
That's fine. You can have the Euro step, but are we going to sit here and say that Steven Jackson does nothing?
I never.
Are we going to
said-
sit here and say
where you
that?
get that from? I never
No,
said that. I
I'm
never
saying
said that.
like that's why I'm saying probably they have a championship.
Listen, it's always a possibility. The Pacers, like I said, the Pacers and the Pistons was matched evenly. I could not stand. You still don't see Indiana Pacers in Detroit right now. You still don't see that. You don't see that. You don't see no Pacer jersey. I got a Jermaine O'Neal jersey. I do have that in my toe.
I bought a Steven Jackson jersey.
I have a Jermaine O'Neal jersey. I'm not going to even lie.
I
But
bought a Steven Jackson jersey after the brawl.
every team have their kryptonite.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Pistons and the Pacers, they was each other's kryptonite. That could have went either way every time.
But they felt really confident about that. They felt really confident. They was like, you got the Pacers owner coming out saying that he felt sorry for Jermaine O'Neal because he knew that if they would have never got into that situation, they would have won a championship.
That's not a guarantee because you had to run to the Spurs.
Yes, they would have had to run into the Spurs.
And the Spurs, whether people like them or not, they beat. Listen, if you can beat the Lakers, dominant Shaq and all that, dude, like, come on, man.
So people,
like, come on, let's be serious here.
Okay, so let's really look at the Lakers. Once you get past Kobe and Shaq, what's next?
Bruh, dude, Shaq is, come on, man. Listen.
Once you get past Kobe and Shaq, what's next?
You argued this with me before, and I told you Lakers didn't have all that of a roster.
No.
Besides them two.
No, besides them two. But when they played against y'all, they had 4 Hall of Famers in the starting lineup.
Listen, let's not act like Castles and Canes and, and Walkers.
I'm not saying that.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not saying that. Because people want to easily Euro step the fact that Utah Jazz, Karl Malone, and John Stockton was like 38 and 39. Okay? They don't want to care about age when it comes to defending Michael Jordan.
They was that old at the time?
I believe so.
They couldn't have been that old.
38?
Because that was, 98? It was 97, 98, right?
Wasn't they like 40-something when they played for the Lakers?
No, because at that point, Karl Malone, look, dude, Karl Malone was with the Lakers in 04.
Mm-hmm.
If he was 40 at that time in 98.
I didn't say 40. I'm saying when he was with the Lakers, he was 40.
Okay. Yeah. Listen, don't disrespect the Pistons like this, brother.
I'm not disrespecting the Pistons like this. What I'm just trying to make sure we get. Look, we don't veered far off.
I don't even look. It's off the cuff. That's what it is.
Okay, so Jokic, Luka. Jokic, Luka, Bron, and who was 4? No, who was 5?
I told you ain't no order. Jokic, Luka, Bron, Shea.
Shea is 5?
No, it's not in order. I told you that.
Okay.
It's Luka, Jokic.
Shea's over Halliburton?
It's not in order.
Halliburton.
We just mentioned the
code. I'll put Halliburton over Shea.
You know how bad? Listen, I can't put this in the list because the league is terrible. So we going. I'm just thinking of the coldest dudes right. So Luka, Jokic, that's 2. Anthony Edwards, that's 3. Mm-hmm. Shea, that's 4. Would you say Ja's in there?
When he's healthy, Ja, yeah, most
5.
definitely.
Okay.
Embiid,
It's 6.
Bron,
7.
Halliburton,
8.
9 would have to be
Tatum,
Giannis.
9. Okay, who's at 10? You want to throw Tatum up in that? Or Booker or Tatum?
I take Steph over Tatum.
Ooh, so 10, that's Steph. So Booker and Tatum is out of it.
I have no issue.
Jalen Green is out of it, or Jaylen Brown is out of it.
Look, I love Jaylen Brown. I'll take him over Jason Tatum, but I know that he's not in this conversation.
Well, I will say at this point, we're looking at it's 2 hours and 24 minutes. So we're going to conclude episode 1 here. We're going to conclude
After
this.
having a roundabout conversation about other areas.
Listen, it was off the cuff. It's cool. You know, we're going to conclude this. We'll let you know what the next topic is. Right?
Honorable mentions. Okay? Honorable mentions. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. After that, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. Let me see. Let me look at these standings real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Butler, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
De'Aaron Fox. Ooh, Domantas Sabonis.
You think he top 10, bro?
Yes. In this current league, I think Sabonis is.
So you put him over Steph then?
Yes. Unfortunately, I would put him
He's
this year. This year.
His brother trying to get the show deleted. It's cool, though. You know what I mean?
This year, I would.
You know, we got no sponsors yet.
This year, I would. Hey, look, man, look. Whether they come or they don't, I don't care. People can run from the truth all they want. Look, okay. Jalen Brunson is having a much better year than Steph Curry.
So you put Jalen Brunson over Steph?
If we going by this year alone, now if we go by body of work, no. But if we go by this year alone, Jalen Brunson is a better player than Steph Curry. And I dare anybody to show me different.
I guess that's gonna be on the part 2.
I don't think Donovan Mitchell is in that conversation.
No, I don't think. I think Donovan Mitchell at this point is a role player.
I just think Donovan Mitchell doesn't need to be paired with a point guard at his same height.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Like, if Donovan Mitchell was on the Pacers with Tyrese, that would be a different story. If Donovan Mitchell was on the Celtics with either Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, that would be a different story.
Mm-hmm.
If Donovan Mitchell was paired with let's say Donovan Mitchell was paired with Anthony Edwards, it'll be a different story.
But because neither one of them was point guards.
No, but he got Mike Conley over there.
Well, who gonna start?
Mike Conley.
Anthony Edwards gonna be a 3?
In this league, you don't think he can play that? In this league.
You gotta play defense to be a 3, dude.
Okay, so how many threes out there is a threat? How many threes out there? And let's not get this twisted. Ant is willing to play defense.
I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying.
Ant is willing to play defense. He accepts the challenge. He can play the 3.
But you scoring on the 2, though.
But offensively, he can be still be the 2.
But you is scoring on him, though.
With who?
That's how bad the league is, y'all.
With who?
That's how bad the league is.
That's my thing. If it ain't Kevin Durant and it ain't LeBron James, then who? At the 3.
Listen, I'm not gonna argue with you there. I mean, but that's how bad the talent of the league is. That's why we couldn't come with a top 10 legitimately.
Okay,
it took us that
maybe
long.
When he plays against the Clippers and you look at whoever plays the 3 between Kawhi and Paul George, that's 3 teams. That's 3 teams in the league that he would have to worry about.
I'm just saying, like, listen, excuse me, folks, I just like position basketball.
Yes.
I'm from the position basketball era.
Positionless.
Call me a boomer, whatever you want to call it, but I like actual position basketball. This positionless basketball.
To have a center that can distribute is a valuable piece. When we look at the Nuggets,
is it that deep?
When we look at the Kings, and when we look at the Houston Rockets with Sengun.
Oh, Kings?
Yeah, because they have Sabonis playing the center.
So he can play the ones? He distributes?
he be the one that getting the triple doubles, bro. Don't ask me why. Remember, you the one that's the fan of Mike Brown.
Did I tell you I was a fan of Mike? When did I say I was a fan of? I say I don't. I think Mike Brown's getting unnecessary hate. When did I say I'm a fan? When did them words come out of my mouth? I've never said that.
Saying that you a fan, you like, oh, I like Mike Brown as a head coach.
That don't mean I'm a fan. I mean, I don't think he deserved the hate he get.
Anyways, there's 3 centers in this league. That really 2 centers in this league that can be viewed as good passers.
Jokic. That's number 1, Jokic.
Jokic and Sabonis. Embiid is not a passer.
No.
The next closest thing to them two players is Sengun on Houston.
I like Sengun. I know you be talking about Sengun and all that.
And Sengun has games where he got busy and he outplayed Sabonis and Jokic. He's had games like that. Not saying that he will be better in a series, but he's had games like that. Not saying that he's better.
I know you were speaking about Sengun. I like Sengun. I think
Sengun, he's one of those guys where you want to see him do it on a big stage. Sengun is like, okay, you giving me everything I need to believe in the regular season. You giving me everything.
So you're taking for the match?
Yes, I'll definitely take. I'll trade Franz Wagner for Alfred Sengun right now. Send that offer in. They can get anything they want but Paolo.
Paolo?
You said he was like Carmelo, which I felt disrespectful. But that's cool, though.
No.
That's cool, though.
He values the mid-range.
I love the mid-range.
And he uses his body. He's not the same bully that Melo was. He's not the same bully. Mm-hmm. He's not cut from that cloth.
Right.
And a lot
Nobody is.
Exactly. So that's part of the reason why he can still be a guy to build around in this league, because the people around him are not either.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I think that will conclude today's episode.
Trying to wrap this up.
Nah, I ain't trying to wrap it up. You know, I can go for 4 hours. Honestly,
Louis, are you sleepy?
I can go for 4 hours. I can go for 4 hours, but
are you tired?
I can go for 4 hours. Your wife sleep.
She ready to go to sleep.
Gonna put that on the airwaves. Okay, so
we in the projects.
I know we not. We know we're near the project. We know we're near the look. We gonna conclude this episode.
Let's do it.
And then we gonna have
something else to
talk
about.
This is off the cuff. We gonna have off the cuff. Listen. Hold on. We gonna have off the cuff episodes. That's gonna be a thing, off the cuff. We just talk.
Okay.
About whatever we want to talk about.
And it just flows where it goes.
That's what off the cuff is.
It's the best NBA era.
Huh?
Best NBA era.
We could go about 3 more hours. You sure? You want to do that?
Yeah.
We go 6 in the morning.
I'm gonna say two 2000s on that right now.
I told you that before.
I'm gonna say 2000s on that
2000s.
Right now. And the next best era is the 80s.
80s over the 90s?
Yeah, because when you destruct established teams to make 6 expansion teams, look, I know that is the era that got a lot of people's heart, because that's when Jordan got his 6.
Uh-huh.
But think about the drafts in the late 90s and how it
That's fine.
Some of the best 2000 players.
That's fine. Because skills have gotten better as time has gotten on.
But it seemed to be getting worse now. It's in a decline.
At
now.
certain positions. More specifically at the big man position.
Yeah, but the big man. But basketball was geared around the big man at first.
And the point guard position.
Right, the 2 key points. The 2 keys, you know what I mean?
But that's this era.
You feel me? So,
But that's this era.
and that's why the game looks so bad the way it looked now.
Man,
It's terrible.
everything is about shooting threes.
Exactly.
Thank you, Steph Curry.
Well, that was a great episode.
We'll see what we got.
Well, we're going to be back next week. Next week, right? Every Saturday.
We'll try. We'll try. If not next week on Saturday, maybe next week on another day.
Well, we'll have
next week the following.
Well, we also have individual episodes as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. Cause you gonna cover boxing.
I'm gonna talk about boxing.
When is the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson thing?
Listen. I'm gonna talk to y'all about that. It's gonna be on Netflix. I'm gonna break that down. That's a whole hour right there within itself. Okay.
The NFL draft is coming up
That's
late
coming
April.
up. We gonna cover that. What else we covering? We covering everything.
Oh, we gonna cover off the court, off the
Yeah, we
field
covering
situations.
everything.
We'll
Here-
talk about players that got themselves in some situations.
F and S, we covering everything here. So
We gonna get a female's perspective.
yep. As long as they don't fall asleep.
She knocked out.
Exactly. So here in FNS, we cover everything. It's not just sports. And we appreciate y'all for listening. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, hit the notifications. We out. All right?
Peace.
Yes, sir.